Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Film is Okie Dokie. My name is Jade. Anyone else?
It's me!
I'm Tommy.
It's me!
And that's me.
Yeah, hi.
And this is the
CJ.
podcast where we, not me most of the time, watch movies and we talk about them and we determine whether or not they are oak or are they dope. And yeah, me and
Great
me.
job.
How are you
Great job.
guys doing?
Our
job.
first ever guest introduction. Let's
I
give
know.
her a round of applause. Very
Woo!
nice,
Clapping on
very
the
nice.
inside.
Thank you.
We are
Thank you for
really
bringing us
bad
in.
hosts making our guests do the intro to the show.
I know.
Yeah. No, that was good. How is everybody doing?
Good.
I'm doing
really
pretty
excited.
fantastic. Yes, so excited for this.
I'm so
How are you doing,
excited for
CJ?
this. I'm so excited for this. I'm also a little scared, but it's funny. It kind of feels like I picked the movie, even though you picked the movie.
It does kind of
Right.
feel like that. It does.
Which
I
we
mean, and
should
we
say
did
the movie
go-
we're watching, of course, is Sinners.
Yes. And we did go over this a little bit in the post show the other day. But yeah, CJ was wanting to maybe watch this movie. And I was already planning on being a guest. And I happened to pick this movie and super excited to watch it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I had heard nothing but good things about it. Which you never hear about horror movies. People don't really say good things about horror movies in a critical sense, right? There isn't that many. I would say new, right? New horror.
I'm not
guess
sure. I feel like
last
that might just be
year-
more the circles you run in, if I'm being honest. Because there are a lot of horror films. You know, Jade and I kind of have our ear to the ground when it comes to horror. And I do feel like, you know, especially like this year, really great year for horror critically. Last year as well, good year for horror. This year alone, you had Weapons, you had Together, you had Bring Her Back, all of which were horror films that did well critically. So it might just be, you know, horror isn't really a genre you're attuned to and paying attention to.
Well, and I will say, I think horror is a very expansive genre. I think there are so many subsections or subgenres of horror that it's a little harder to determine whether or not, or like, what am I trying to say? There are just a lot of different types of movies that fall into horror that you may not think of, or like when you think of horror. And I was talking to my mom about this today because I told her that we were watching Sinners. And like, you know, sometimes we think of horror as like the Conjuring movies or, you know, like jump scare type horror. But there's also body horror, there's like cultural horror, there's historical horror. So yeah, I definitely think that there are a lot of different genres of horror that have gained some critical acclaim, including The Substance, which was nominated for Best Picture in the Oscars this year.
Great point.
That
For last
was
year.
the one I was thinking of. Was The Substance, a movie I almost watched, but basically, I heard that it checked all of my no-nos
Oh
Yes,
yeah,
for
yeah.
things I
think
could
that's
not do.
definitely not a CJ film.
Yeah, but to be fair, you know, Tommy, you told me you didn't think this was a CJ film either. So
This is true.
This
is true.
It still might be true. This is not a CJ film.
I think this definitely has more of a shot at being a CJ film than The Substance. This, you know, and we'll talk more about it. How about this? Let's put a pin in the CJ horror discussion and how we feel this might be. And let's real quick pivot because it feels like we're already really getting into the meat of our conversation regarding Sinners. And I would really like to, you know, before we get too in the weeds, talk about our movie Fantasy League. So this episode is coming out on October 10th. You know, if you're listening to this, you're a 10 out of 10, just like today.
Wow, I can't believe you're flirting with the listeners.
Oh my god.
So, yeah, the Vulture Movie Fantasy League. If you're not familiar, if this is your first episode you're listening to, or you haven't heard us talk about this in previous episodes, more or less, it's like fantasy sports, but for movies. And we are running the Film is Okie Dokie League in it this year. You can still join. More or less, you have 100 fake dollars. You go and you draft a team of 8 movies. And you earn points based on how they do at the domestic box office and how they do critically and how they do with the awards. If you are listening to this now and want to join, like I said, it's not too late. You can go draft a team, though you will be limited in what you can draft. You will not be able to draft anything that has begun to accumulate points. So you will be limited to only films that are unreleased. If you had gotten a chance to sign up before the September 25th deadline, you would have had the free pickings. But yeah, the deadline is closed. And at this point, I believe we all should be able to publicly see our picks. I think films will have started earning points. So I thought, why don't the three of us go over what our movie rosters are? Maybe have a little discussion about why we picked certain films. Maybe throw some shade and ridicule towards someone's team. Mine. But do you guys both have your rosters ready?
I do.
Okay, who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Okay.
Why don't you run us through and kind of talk about your reasoning for each one?
Yeah, I will say some of these picks were just like selfish pat on the back. Jade thinks that these are going to do well for herself, not necessarily critically acclaimed or anything, but we'll see. First movie I had was Wicked for Good. I think this one's pretty self-explanatory. I think it's going to absolutely kill at the box office. I think everyone's going to go see it. I think this was pretty much a given, though it was very expensive in it was like almost 50% of the budget you have. But I think it's going to be nominated for a lot. I think it's going to be absolutely killer at the box office. So I personally thought that the amount was worth it. Next, I have The Long Walk. This is a Jade pick. Tommy and I have already seen this movie. I did pick it before we did see it, but I don't think it's necessarily going to gain critic acclaim. But it's doing pretty decent at the box office, so we'll see. Next, I have If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. I'm very excited for this movie. This is what I believe is going to be Conan O'Brien's first dramatic role that he is a part of this movie. I forget exactly what the premise of the movie is. I have watched the trailer for it already, but it was just kind of one of those gimmies. And I was like, oh, I've heard of this movie. I think it might do well. So I just threw that in there. Next, I have The Smashing Machine. Which is kind of funny because you guys actually just talked about The Smashing Machine on the Rundown episode because you guys were talking about The Rock movies or Dwayne Johnson movies, I should say. I just think it's going to do really well. I think Dwayne Johnson will potentially get a Best Actor nom for it. So that's why I put that one on there. I put Arco on there, which is an animated film. Has a lot of big name actors that are part of the voice acting for it. I had never heard about this movie until I was Googling it, trying to acquire my roster, and we'll see. Next is Five Nights at Freddy's 2. This this one, I'm not sure how it's going to do, but I think it might get like a TikTok type following, rush teens to the box office type thing. So I'm counting on teens maybe helping out my roster.
Right, there's going to be like a trend where they all go and they all have to wear suits and throw popcorn at the screen when,
exactly.
When like the bird thing shows her tits or something,
Lava, chicken.
Yeah, there's going to be like one of those.
That didn't happen for us.
No,
we went to go see it too soon.
Yeah, we were the foundational audience members, we made that happen. We made the chicken jockey madness happen with our
We were
rowdiness.
actually the first popcorn throwers of the chicken jockey experience.
I threw CJ's Raisinets.
That's a better use for them.
And then next I have The Woman in Cabin 10. This is a film that is based off of the Ruth Ware book by the same name. I haven't seen really anything about it come out yet, but I'm just hoping on the fact that, women around my age really like Ruth Ware books. So I feel like, people might just go see it. I don't know. I recognized it. I was like, oh, that book was really, really, I never finished the book. I didn't really like it, but a lot of people really liked it. So maybe that'll get some people in the box office too. And then the last one I have is Wake Up Dead Man, the third installment in the what's it called?
Knives Out.
Knives Out universe. Yes, thank you. So far it's getting pretty good critic acclaim, so we'll see how that does.
I gotta say, I much prefer your 8 picks to mine.
I gotta
think
tell
this is
you,
a good 8.
I really like your 8. I don't think you and I have any crossover.
Really?
Whoa. So
ooh, okay.
Wait, you didn't pick Wicked, CJ?
No.
Whoa. Wow. Okay, CJ, let's hear your picks.
Maybe that means I can't win. But
that's not true.
You know what? I decided I was going to build a different way.
Mm-hmm.
Up first, we have from director Chloe Zhao, Hamnet.
Yes.
It's like, which is that Jesse Buckley, Paul Mescal movie coming out about
I think that's
the
a good
lives
pick.
of Billy Shakespeare and his wife Agnes.
Yes,
so,
I think that's a really good pick. I'm excited to see that.
That was my one. Yeah, that was my one regret that I didn't include on mine. So that's a very good pick.
Yeah, I was like, I feel like this has Oscar contention written all over it. It's got Sam Mendes and Spielberg on board to produce. There's lots of good energy in here. Love it.
Strong start.
Yep. Roofman.
Oh, the Channing Tatum. We've seen the trailer a billion times. This is the Channing Tatum one.
Yes, Channing Tatum, Kirsten Dunst, Ben Mendelsohn. And I'm excited for that. That feels like that could be in there. That could be a contender. A movie that I had never heard of, but then saw the trailer for, and I picked this entirely because of Jesse Plemons, Begonia.
Yes. I'm excited for this one.
Emma Stone, Jesse Plemons, and Stavros.
Yeah, that's the next Yorgos Lanthimos film, so I'm sure that'll get some award attention.
Yeah, that one was on my roster. I don't exactly remember why I chose to take that off for something else, but that is a very good pick as well.
I'm going for the bag pick, Zootopia, the holiday film that I feel like will get the kiddies in there. Wicked for good means that you had to have seen Wicked. That doesn't mean that it's going to have bad, but it means off the rip, Zootopia 2 might be better. I'm
sure you'll get some award attention for animated film for that.
I also just made a point about Wicked 2 being a sequel, and my reason that they might go see Zootopia 2 is that it's not a sequel when 2 is in the name. Yeah. Moving on. No one heard that. I picked The Housemaid because not only does it have Sydney Sweeney in it, but it also has my favorite Mean Girl, Amanda Seyfried, in it. So,
and that's also a adaptation of a very popular novel.
Yeah, Colleen Hoover book. Oh wait, no, not Colleen Hoover. It's
Frida McFadden.
Frida McFadden.
I heard a lot of rumblings that Oscar Isaac was going for the jugular this year on his Oscar. He was trying to win an Oscar, so I picked an Oscar Isaac film. I went with In the Hand of Dante, which has Oscar Isaac, Gal Gadot, Gerard Butler, John Malkovich, and a bunch of other people.
Can I ask
Pacino's in there?
who? Yeah, Martin Scorsese, I think, is in that too as an actor, unless you already mentioned him.
I didn't. No. Oh yeah. No, I didn't.
So when you say you're hearing rumblings that Oscar Isaac is really going for an Oscar, who are you hearing this from? Do you have insider sources?
I just have my people on the inside.
Gotcha. So real quick before we continue, can I just I did a quick Google to make sure this is the film I was thinking of. CJ, have you seen that this film does have some reviews out?
No. Are they
You want to know what its critics' Rotten Tomato score is sitting at right now?
It's
no.
good, right?
It's a hot 41%, baby.
Let's go.
Don't worry. We're gonna get more of that with my list.
Oh no.
This has, I'm gonna be real, really bad curve on Letterboxd. I'm gonna send you guys a picture of the rating curve for Hand of Don, in the Hand of Don. See, this is why this rules. I love this thing. This competition's so hard. That's the ratings curve.
Oh god, I don't want to look. Let's see.
For the audio listener, the biggest peak is at 1 star, and it's a very left favoring ratings curve.
Oh
no.
Okay, then I'm like, okay, gotta bring it back. People like The Long Walk, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Then they'll love the other Richard Bachman book, The Running Man.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I think this is a good pick.
Glenn Powell.
Yeah.
He was on
Edgar Wright.
Yeah, he was on Kimmel last night promoting it.
I did see
Nice.
Yeah. And then I had to pick this. I don't have any idea what this is going to do. I don't have any idea what this is going to be. But Daniel Day-Lewis came out of retirement to film this. He's been retired since 2017's The Phantom Thread. I picked Anemone. And I just can't not do it. This is directed by his son, and co-written but with him and his son. So, Daniel Day-Lewis, phenomenal. I don't know what it'll do. I have no clue, but I was like, you never bet against somebody as phenomenal as Daniel Day-Lewis. And it also has Sean Bean, so he'll die.
Oh, most definitely.
Definitely. It's in his rider.
Yes.
The fact that he didn't die in The Martian shocked me.
Wow, spoilers.
Ooh, spoilers.
Yeah, I know. He was the Martian. He was
Oh, that's who he was?
Yeah. Huh?
Does he also play the alien in Asteroid City?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he definitely was, right?
All right. So, is
Very
there
nice.
crossover with your list and my list?
Mine?
Yeah.
We have one shared film.
Wow.
And that film is the one I'm starting off with. It's Hamnet.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm with you. I think that's a really good pick. You know, Chloe Zhao has won best picture with Nomadland, best director. And
one
this
of
just
3 women to win best director.
Yeah, and
He was the
will
second.
she be the first to repeat? We will see. Some more overlap with this time with Jade. I did pick The Smashing Machine as well. I think that there's going to be both the critic side of it or the awards. I think Dwayne Johnson, I feel like he's got to be nominated for like every acting award, especially because he's going to be wearing like facial prosthetics in it. And the voters just go crazy anytime someone's in heavy makeup, right?
I feel like Emily Blunt's probably going to get a nom too.
We'll see. That's a good point. That's a good point. And I think that, there's just so much word of mouth around this that it'll probably do at least decent at the box office. I don't think it's going to flop. But speaking of box office, I had to pick Wicked for Good. Had to pick it because I think it's too big, The first one was enormous. Everyone who saw the first one, I think, is going to go see this one, in addition to everyone who is like, I'll wait until the second one comes out and I'll watch the first one right before it.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's just going to get nominated for everything since the last one was nominated for everything. It didn't win much, I think, largely because it's a part 1 of 2. So I think that it might, it might get its roses this time around. Is that the sitting?
Yeah.
My next pick, I picked K-pop Demon Hunters, which is the hit Netflix film, just because at this point I had already blown like $80 of my budget. So the rest were the rest were just budget picks, trying to pick things I think will do well at the awards. So K-pop Demon Hunters, I was like, it's got music and it's animated. I feel like it's going to get a lot of nominations for both animated film and music. I won't get any points for it for box office because it already came out by the time I drafted it, and it's a Netflix film, but it's huge. And there's a lot of talk that a lot of people, for when it comes to voting on animated films, they just pick what their kids like. So K-pop Demon Hunters. Then the next movie I picked is a little movie that came out back in like April called Warfare. And I only picked this because I'm like, oh, this seems like it'll get a bunch of nominations for like sound design and stuff. So drafted Warfare, felt that was some bang for your buck picks. And now we start getting into the real question marks. My next film I drafted was All of You, which is apparently a sci-fi romance film starring Brett Goldstein from Ted Lasso, Roy Kent. And I picked it because I was like, sure, I hope it does well in the UK.
It does look really good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. I like that.
I would be interested in watching it.
All right. Look at that. That's got to be worth some points, right?
Jade watched 1 point.
Yeah, that has Imogen Poots, right?
Yes.
Isn't her middle name Gay?
No clue.
Jade, can you look it up?
I can look it up.
Jade, pull that up. Pull up that
I
video
pull it
of
up,
the
I don't
gorilla
think
taking
anyone...
DMT.
Shut up. Do your thing.
The next film I took was one I had never heard of called The Thing with Feathers. And I only picked this because it stars Benedict Cumberbatch. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure he's going for an Oscar with it. And like the day after Jade and I did our drafts, I decided to Google this movie, and it's rocking a real nice 53% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Let's go.
So that score was definitely there when I drafted, and I just didn't bother to look it up.
Her middle name is Gay.
Wow. With an E or no?
No.
With an A.
So just G-A?
G-A-Y.
Oh, okay.
G-A would be Gaw or Georgia, depending on where you are.
And then my last film, and I think this is the real anchor here. I took Dogman.
Dogman?
Yeah, I took Dogman. It came out in January. It's a kid's film.
You took Dogman?
It stars Pete Davidson.
Oh, God. Why?
And Ricky Gervais is because I was like, I have $1 left. I need something that I think's gonna get a nomination. And at the time, I couldn't think of any other animated films that came out this year. So I picked Dogman, hoping that it would get an animated nom and I would get just some easy points with my $1.
Wow.
Of course you would pick the dog police movie.
Yeah, propaganda.
I love that our lists are so all different.
Yes,
both of you guys
too.
picked propaganda movies. What's going on?
Zootopia. The propaganda furry movie?
Why'd they have to make the bunny so thick?
Oh my
I'm
God.
all about the sloths in the first one, if I'm really being honest.
One hop this time.
Wow. Well, I loved going through our picks. I'm so excited to see not just our picks, but what everyone else in the league and community picked. And I'm excited to see how this turns out. I'm sure we'll be checking in on this when some points are starting to get scored.
I'm so excited.
Me too. But how about we now return to our conversation and let's talk a little more about Sinners.
Yeah.
So first, no secret that both Jade and I have seen this film. We went and saw it opening weekend. Jade, you've seen it multiple times if you wanted to talk a little to that.
Yes, I have seen it twice. Obviously, Tommy and I went to go see it together in theaters. And then one weekend when Tommy was out of town visiting all of our good friends, Brian Otto, I went to go see it again, and very, very good, very different experience for me. After I already knew everything that was going to happen, after I'd listened to the soundtrack several times, the soundtrack and the score. It was just a great experience for me. I'm really excited to watch it a third time. And yeah.
Now, CJ, you've not seen this.
No.
Before we get into talking about horror and, you know, this film a bit more, what do you know about this movie in general?
The only thing I know about this movie is that Michael B. Jordan plays two people.
Mm-hmm.
I think that... Oh, and there's that scene where it's like, I want to come in. You can't come in.
Right, we talked about this at the end of our rundown episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can't
Anything
come
else?
in. Is Haley Steinfeld in it?
She is.
Mm-hmm.
Then that's all I know.
Okay.
I know that it is about vampires.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm supposed to know that or not.
I think it's yeah.
I think
Yeah.
the trailer doesn't reveal it, but or whatever. But yeah, I've learned that eventually vampire.
Gotcha. Cool.
I know nothing else.
So let's then talk a bit about horror. And, you know, before we kind of pivoted to talking about Vulture, we were talking about the different types of horror and how we had said this wouldn't be a CJ film similar to The Substance. And I remember I was going to bring up, like, The Substance is very much not a CJ film because it's, you know, everything you hate. It's body horror. It's everything specifically in the Q zone of what CJ shouldn't watch. Sinners, I think I originally said isn't a CJ film just because I think it's generally like an intense movie. And, you know, and like, you know, there's blood at times, and not that you don't like blood, but just a little intense. But I do think it's something that, and we both think this, you could watch. Otherwise, we wouldn't be sitting here watching it, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it was more so that this wasn't a CJ movie, just erring on the side of caution with some of the scary elements that are included in the movie. Not that you couldn't handle it, because I do think that you can handle it.
Yes.
I hope that I can.
In just general relation of this being like a horror film, I personally am not sure we were talking about how horror films have such a wide breadth to what they can be. And I think this is more on the horror light side of things. That's not to say that it doesn't like strongly build itself around horror elements and things like that. But, you know, in terms of jump scares, are there jump scares? Yeah. It's not what it's built around. It's not one of those, you know, when you think horror, you often think the point is to, like, you know, slowly build tension. You're constantly tightening the string, you know, and then the string snaps with, it's all about the anticipation and everything. And then the string snaps with a jump scare. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's that type of movie where it's like building to jump scares constantly. Are there jump scares? Yes. But it's about the drama of things much more.
I actually have a really good quote too. I was watching several interviews to like refresh my memory on the themes and stuff of Sinners before the podcast today. And one of the actors in the film, I was watching one of his interviews, and he said the horror genre in this film is used as a conduit for larger themes, which I felt like was a very, very good quote and a way to describe Sinners. Is like there's a bigger storyline going on rather than the fear being the focus of the movie like it is with a lot of horror movies.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really great quote.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really great quote.
Okay, Cool.
So
That was
CJ.
by Delroy Lindo.
Oh,
Was
classic.
who said that? Yeah.
Classic.
Mm.
So CJ, let's talk a bit about your experiences with horror. You mentioned you have a list for us.
I do.
All right.
So probably the scariest thing that I've ever seen, not all at once, is The Shining. But I've also, it's funny, sometimes what happens is you see the parody so often, it takes all the air out of it. If you know every single thing that's going to happen because you've seen it parodied and recreated so much, by the time that I actually saw the real movie, it had so much of its power taken away, even though it was a little frightening. And I didn't watch it all at one go. I watched over a couple years. I watched half of it, and then I caught the other half later on. The Ring. Do you remember The Ring?
Wait, so yes,
Yes.
we remember The Ring. We watched it together last year.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the American The Ring and not Ringu?
Yes, it's the American Ring.
Okay.
My sister saw The Ring when it came out. It came out whenever it came out on VHS or DVD. She was at a sleepover. That sleepover was I'm trying to think, 4 blocks away from our house. At 2 a.m, they watched that movie. My sister got up and grabbed her shit and walked home. And then for the rest of the summer, she slept on the floor of my bedroom. And she was terrified. And she would explain to me what happened, and I was terrified by proxy. So I was like,
I have a very similar experience with the American version of The Ring as well.
Oh yeah.
So I feel for your sister.
It was oh, we're gonna watch this at a slumber party or whatever, and it was a dozen. If I was 10 or 11, she was 16 or 17. So, The Grudge had a very aggressive marketing campaign. They played commercials for The Grudge on Fox, and I was a huge fan of The Simpsons. So I used to tape The Simpsons, and all those tapes had The Grudge commercials. And I hated it.
Yeah, that's actually one of the first horror films that I had ever seen. I saw that way too young. My dad is a huge horror person, and he forced me to sit down on the couch with him, and he held my eyes open to watch it until I just noped the fuck out and sprinted up the stairs screaming and crying.
That's awful.
I was 9.
Yeah, you're not selling me on stuff. There was a movie, I don't remember what it was called. It was about these kids that get powers, but they one of them starts to abuse their powers, and then there's a scene where he sends spiders to torment a girl, and it's a whole horror scene where she is writhing in pain while these spiders are poisoning her to death. It's really fucked up. I don't know the name of the movie. I wrote that down.
Interesting.
Drag Me to Hell.
Okay, that's a good one.
That whole trailer lives rent-free in my head. That premise terrifies me. I'm gonna turn down some fucking random gypsy woman one day, and I'm gonna be totally screwed. So I'm just yeah, the whole concept was terrifying. I saw the trailer for that. Like I said, it used to be on Fox, where I would record The Simpsons on tape, and so I had just over and over again I would watch it.
Real quick, have you seen all of these, or are these just ones you're I
saw The Shining. I saw the weird movie with the spider. The Ring I never saw, but terrified by proxy. The Grudge I never saw. I only saw the trailer. Terrified of the trailer. And Drag Me to Hell only ever saw the trailer. Terrified of the trailer.
Yeah, I'll say all of the movies that you listed are a lot. They're scary. Those are not weak horror movies. Those are scary horror movies.
Yeah. I have played Resident Evil games. I used to watch The Walking Dead, so I have some tolerance for spooky things. Um, it helped that I never really thought that The Walking Dead was really about the zombies. It was about the people. So,
Mm.
like, they, especially in later seasons, the zombies aren't even a thing. It's like, literally like AIDS. Like, oh no, Gary got AIDS. Oh, damn, he's gonna die soon. Oh. Alright. Bye, Gary. That's literally how it is. My biggest no-nos are disfiguration, maiming, mutilating, morphing, and people that are transformed into animals against their will and have no way to turn back.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least they think they have no way to turn back. I did write that down.
Right.
So some examples of this, which terrify me, are Pinocchio,
Okay.
Spirited Away.
Mhm.
Yes, I remember us talking about that.
Spirited Away, that trailer where Spirited Away's trailer gave me a fear of pigs. Brother Bear.
Okay.
Tusk.
Oh, that one's understandable.
Yeah. Witches.
Hmm.
Emperor's New Groove.
Oh, what a classic.
I know. I have gotten over that one, but that was a one for a long time.
That one's such a classic. I
And
love that one.
Rockadoodle.
Rockadoodle. I don't think I even know that one.
That kid gets turned into a mouse.
Mhm.
Oh.
Wait, so what is it about witches?
They turn the boys into mice.
Oh, okay.
And
I thought it was
feel
just like a witch in general. It's like,
No.
wait. Okay.
I think one time you had framed it to me in that it's like almost like the loss of humanity aspect of it.
Yes. So, like, okay, werewolves don't scare me because they turn into wolves. I don't like the process of watching them transform. But, like, the scene in Harry Potter where the guy turns into a werewolf, or, like,
Mhm.
animagus type things, doesn't bother me because, like, I guess werewolf should bother me, but it doesn't. But, like, if you willingly turn into an animal, it's fine. But, like, Animorphs, the first book to explain that you have to turn back, they have someone stay as a bird too long, and then she's permanently a bird. And she loses her humanity, and she just has a bird brain now.
Mm-hmm.
So, yay.
Gotcha.
So, like, no go.
Interesting. So I guess transitioning this kind of back towards Sinners is, how do you feel about vampires?
So I've actually been playing Castlevania a lot lately. Has nothing to do with the fact that we're doing Sinners. And I've been asked about how do I feel about vampires, because playing quote-unquote spooky game you'd think would be outside my comfort zone. And I think the answer is that I am okay with vampires in general. Like the I want to suck your blood and blah. You know, the Count Chocula kind of vampires.
Mhm.
You know, the I can't come in unless you invite me, you know, or oh, you threw a bucket of rice on the ground, I have to sit there and count it. You know, not Nosferatu, but like, you know, the Universal Monster-esque vampires, I feel like I'm good with.
Okay.
But like, I'm gonna rip your fucking guts out. I'm gonna like string you up by your large intestine. I don't know if I'm good with that. We're
Mhm.
gonna find out.
It's an intense vampire.
Yeah, I know. We'll see. I don't really know.
So you had mentioned like a couple vampire rules, you know. I think that of the big like horror icons in that, like vampires, werewolves, zombies, I feel like vampires definitely have like the most rules they have to follow.
Yeah.
And like the vampire, there's a bunch of vampires are very tropey at times. So I guess, how familiar with vampire tropes are you?
I feel like I'm very familiar with vampire tropes. I actually was going to make a video on like the origin of different vampire tropes a couple years ago. I didn't finish it. But like they have the thing where if they die, they come back. They have the garlic They have the jar of dirt. The idea that like they can't leave, they have to have this like dirt from where they're from to be able to travel. They can't
They must
leave.
sleep in their own dirt or something like that.
Yeah, or like that's why they sleep in the coffin, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the idea behind like early vampirism was that the idea for why you have to invite them in was that the original vampires were a metaphor for immigrants, and that the worst danger that you can have is the one that you invite willingly in on yourself. Like, so like, oh, it wasn't necessarily like the immigrants, it was the diseases that they brought that the immune systems for people coming in couldn't handle.
Mm-hmm.
So there is aspects of that that kind of lead to the rise of vampires. I love that Nosferatu is a ripoff of the vampire genre, which creates a bunch of the mainline vampire key stakes that are like now associated with like Dracula and everything. But yeah, so they can't go out in the sun. They're allergic to the sun. They burn in the sun. There's like all this like, oh, well, I'll turn into dust and like come out at night. You know, the counting. I feel like I touched on a bunch.
Yeah.
Were you expecting me to be so knowledgeable about the vampires?
I'll say you have a very good baseline going into this movie, and I
Yay!
won't elaborate on that further. There were a couple of things that you mentioned that I'm like, okay. So
All right.
I think you're very well prepared going into this movie.
Yay!
So another thing that kind of Jade and I were chatting about beforehand is, this movie, yes, it's about vampires, but it's about so much more. There's a lot of historical context to this film that, I guess, Jade, do you want to take over for this?
Yeah, I was just curious, CJ, like since Tommy and I have both seen it, we've both engaged in a lot of Sinners media and interviews, and I was just curious, like going into the film, how much would you like to know, if anything, before we watch about the historical context? Tommy and I went in blind. We didn't know. So I don't think it would change anything if you didn't want to know, and we can just talk about it after the fact. But I did want to leave it out there if you did want to know, like, about the time period and the historical context. Like you would probably know. You're a very smart person. Um,
Oh, thank you.
of course. But I just wanted to
Do
know if there's anything you wanted us to go over before the film
hmm.
about
Do you
that.
feel that it would enrich the experience for me or the audience to know the setting before watching the film?
What do you think, Tommy?
See, the only thing that my mind keeps going back to is Jade and I, like the week before we saw this movie in theaters, we had a very serendipitous moment that we didn't even realize until we saw the movie. We went to a public library in Chicago for a lecture on blues music and its historical roots and like the emergence of blues in America. And I thought that, going to that provided some historical context to the film that isn't really, necessary to know, but I did think that it added some to the experience of the film. Just some of the things we learned in that lecture.
Okay. I think personally I would like to go in blind, but I think it'd be interesting for you if you would like to share that with the audience before we started.
Okay. Well, how about we can Jade and I can chat about that for a minute, And then we'll go right into the prediction, and we'll message you when it's safe to put your headphones back on.
Yep, sounds good.
So
the headphones are up.
Jade, do you want to take the reins on the emergence of blues in America, or?
Oh gosh, this is such a heavy topic. I don't think we need to go super, super far into it, because the emergence of blues in America and the different types of blues and the type of blues that is prominent in this film could be an entire podcast episode itself.
Of course.
But it is important to know that this film takes place in the 1930s, Mississippi. The type of blues that we predominantly see in this film are called the Delta blues. I have to read up on it a little bit. So if you have anything to add, at the moment.
So the Delta, like the blues are one of the most American things. The blues is like, other countries have their own form of blues. There is Irish blues, which kind of plays into things, but the blues really were birthed in the fields on like plantations back when slave labor was a part of America. And it was used as a form of communication, as a form of mourning, as a way of passing on joy, and things were transformed into song. And from these cotton fields and these working fields, it kind of developed into its own language, and it then evolved into multiple different kinds of blues. There are like three main ones, the Delta blues being the one Jade had mentioned that are in this film. And it's, like Black Americans had it really rough, right? Really rough, which is an entirely its own topic, and one where we are far from qualified to talk about. But blues,
we should not be the ones talking about that. There are several qualified YouTube videos of people who are Delta blues musicians. And we can even go into that in the post show too, and I can do a little more research and recommendations for blues historians that if our listeners are curious about, they should check out.
Yes.
But just touching on what you were saying, it's important to know that like blues music, was brought on first, communicating hardships, communicating sadness. And there's a lot of vocalizations that come with blues music. It was a form of communication, like you had said. Other important notes, the instruments that we will see. Harmonica is, of course, a part of blues music. There you will see a resonator guitar, which is a really cool type of guitar that has like a metal plate in it that gives it a different tone. They also use a slide, which is usually like a metal tube, but it can be made of a lot of different types of materials that they put on one of their left fingers that they actually use to slide up and down the guitar to give that a different tone as well. And yeah.
And then the one other thing I wanted to mention was in this era, in like the 1920s and 30s, Chicago was a very popular place for Black Americans in the South to move to. It was almost like a land of opportunity. Many Black Americans migrated up to Chicago, many with the blues, which then established an entire blues scene in Chicago, and Chicago developed its own type of blues. But that does play into the film, this promise of Chicago and this promise of a new life.
Yes.
So that all being covered, how do we think CJ's going to like this?
I do think CJ is going to end up liking this film. I thought it was very interesting what CJ had said about vampires being reminiscent of immigrants.
Definitely plays into the themes.
Yeah. So I think with that prior knowledge that CJ has, I think, they're really going to, I think they're going to be able to see past the horror and get to the root of the movie. What do you think?
Yeah. I agree. I think that's the kind of the crux of this, is whether or not CJ can see past the horror. And I think so. I think this is going to be a big old thumbs up okie dokie from CJ.
I'm excited.
Me too. Well, how about we message CJ, get back in here.
Okay.
Get back in here. How do I spell here? H-E... Oh, shoot.
Apple bottom
H-U-R?
jeans, boots.
What up, CJ?
What's up?
All right.
I'm looking at her.
Well, is there anything else we should cover in the pre-show here?
Nope.
Anything? Going once, going twice? All right. So if you would like to watch the movie Sinners with us, you can pause the podcast right here in a moment. Otherwise, just keep on listening. If you want to listen with us, there is a commentary track linked in the description of this episode. But if you're that person, pause the episode right now.
No demons, no ghosts, no magic.
It just keeps listing. No zombies. No werewolves. No Frankensteins.
No dyads. No triads. Saw a mermaid once. That's 'cause I was drunk at sea.
I saw a really big possum once. That was scary.
Two arms, two legs.
What are you?
CJ, do you have any snacks?
I don't right now, but I'm
Wow.
thinking
Oh,
if we once we get closer.
I have some dark chocolate raisinets.
I have raisinets.
Wow.
Get my raisinets.
I have my chapstick I'm taking bites out of.
You're unhinged.
You know my mama to look at the twins.
So who's bringing us in?
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Film is Okie Dokie. You were here the whole time. We're back. It's been a week. Hello. How are you guys?
Wonderful. How are you,
I'm doing
CJ?
so peachy.
I'm doing good. I really can't open this box of raisinets. I've been sitting here for like 10 minutes trying to open it.
Oh, do you need my help? I can get that for you.
Yeah, please. I have no
Okay.
nails.
I have tons of nails.
Ooh.
I got sharp ones. I got screwy ones. I got
Ooh.
Rusty.
fingernails. I got toenails. I got
Ooh.
dog nails.
Dog nails.
Yeah, I
don't know
can
about
go
dog
grab
nails.
Duncan.
Duncan, I don't think he can eat raisinets.
He can't, but he can
This
help
is
open
true. That's that is truly double wombo combo of stuff dogs cannot have.
them. Yeah.
Between Dunk and Edison, which one would be more upset about not being allowed to have raisinets after being asked to open the box?
Ed.
Edison.
Easily, Ed.
Yeah, that feels like an Ed thing.
Yeah, she was following
Duncan-
me around this morning just because I hadn't had an apple yet, and she was waiting for me to have an apple so that she could share it with me.
Wow.
Oh, speaking of, I didn't run to the grocery store and get more apples, so she's gonna be pissed
they're
tomorrow
gonna
morning.
be so mad in the morning.
Maybe I'll run back out to the store after this.
You messed up, bozo.
Mm. Oh my god, apples. Who knew? You know what's
Yeah,
funny?
power food.
Our food. So, we've hung out a few times. Since
That is so funny.
that. Yeah. It's a fucking hoot and a half. Yeah. But what's funny about it is that we've not talked about the movie at all.
This is true.
And I gotta tell you, I really did want to talk to you guys about it, but I refused.
Yeah, you talked to everyone else about it, but not
I know.
us.
I'm such a goss. I'm such a gossip. I really can't help myself. It just comes out of me. I don't know. It just runs through me. I can't help it. So
Start spewing.
it does. So, unless y'all have something that you would like to talk about, I think this is going to be a pretty hefty post show.
I think we should just get into it.
I think
I do too.
because I have a lot of things I want to say.
Okay.
Sounds like a
And-
threat.
I do. It's a threat, all right.
And you guys ain't leaving until I say it all.
It all. That's right. So, I'm curious. Do you guys remember what your predictions were?
Oh yeah.
Ah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Ah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Ah, yeah. All right. You want to tell me what your predictions were? I'm curious.
Tommy, do you want to go first?
Yeah, sorry. Now that I'm done sneezing, I'm sure that's why you were laughing, Jade. I muted my mic and I was sneezing, and I'm sure she could hear me through the wall. Yeah, I mean, I think we were very much in agreement that we thought that CJ would like this as long as you could get past, the horror trappings of it, which we didn't feel as though was very, we felt as though that was pretty surmountable. So I feel like we felt
like
pretty
you
good
could
going
handle
into
it.
this.
We had big hopes for you and your ability to handle the horror that Sinners had to offer.
Okay. So we watched the movie together,
Mhm.
and anyone that took a pause and listened to the commentary track, you might have heard me a few times say something to the effect of like, "I don't like that," or I don't like that." I'm very much the person that predicts what's about to happen. I do that all the time. I do that in not scary movies. I do that in obviously in scary movies it's more prevalent, or like movies where there's like a mystery, because I'm like, oh, that guy's gonna come out of the closet, oh my god, it's her, she's the one that did it. Like I've been watching Only Murders in the Building. I just started season 4, and I'm the worst person to watch that show with, because the whole time I'm like, she did it, she did it, she did it. They want you to think he did it. It's gonna be a whole fucking thing all season. They want you to think he did it, but she did it. And then there's no evidence to support that at all. So I'm just like wildly like pointing and yelling at the screen. Everyone's like, shut up. But you might have heard me during the commentary track if you were listening. Obviously the two of you, I don't think you heard me like shriek, You didn't hear me. I know, you didn't hear me.
Hold up, we recorded a commentary track?
I know. The truth is, I paid the piss tax. I just soaked my pants. I just wet myself.
Oh no.
Yeah, no.
I hope you threw those bad boys in the freezer right away to preserve it.
Yep. Mm-hmm. I gotta make a piss ice cubes, man.
Yeah?
Yeah. Gotta wring them out for later.
Your piss block of denim.
Yeah.
That's
stuck
a
on it
band
like a
name.
moth. Piss block, put it in the app.
Post block of denim too.
Yeah.
I'm putting piss block of denim in right now.
There you go. Thank you. So,
What kind of music would they play?
Oh, definitely some I feel like that's probably some more like Midwest emo type shit.
Can I tell you that almost could be like a really confused name for like a Dropkick Murphys band?
Piss block of denim?
Like a cover band, yeah. I said a confused name. That's definitely a band that gets
certainly
on
confused me.
The Tony Hawk Pro Skater soundtrack.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So I finished the movie, obviously, and then I was sitting there and I'm like, okay, this is actually, I did a lot of work with this movie because I had to really have a conversation with myself. And I had to do a lot of work with myself before the movie and say, I really want to see this movie. I heard it's really good. I've heard a lot of good things about it. And am I going to let my fear of scary movies stop me from having an experience that I want to have with my friends who would really like to have this experience with me, and I would like to have it with them? I decided the answer was no, so I didn't back out of the movie. And it really wasn't something I was considering, but I was really happy that I did do it. And afterwards, I really had to have a conversation with myself about, okay, is my tolerance for scary and horror or whatever much higher than I think it is? Or is there more analysis to be done on the specific things that I can't tolerate?
Okay.
So, I really think there is some room here to see more movies that I think might technically be categorized under horror, but maybe aren't scary if they do something interesting. I don't think The Substance will ever be a movie that I'll be able to watch.
Oh yeah. No.
That checks all of my icks. But I think that I've heard so many good things about it. Like, if it wasn't like my ultimate no, I would be interested in watching something like that. If it does something technically cool, if it does something technically interesting, if it has a really good performance, right? Like, I'm interested in expanding my horizon. So, and I was really happy that I was able to get through Sinners and then I got to experience it. So now
I have a big old smile on my face right now, just so you know.
Yeah, so I was about to say, so what I'm picking up from this is that this really might have you enjoyed it to the point where it's opening some doors potentially.
I haven't said if I enjoyed it yet or not.
Okay, I'm just trying to read between some lines, but I'll wait for those lines to be read aloud.
Well, listen. So, I really needed to contextualize for myself, where do I place this movie, right? Because, like, okay, I didn't hate it, right? I enjoyed the time that I spent with you two, and I didn't hate it. And it was technically very good. But there are movies that I don't like that are technically very good. So, okay, think about that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, okay, well, I do like it.
Mm.
Now, how do I frame my thoughts and feelings on it in context with everything else that I really like and enjoy about movies? And that brought me to the secret first topic of today's show, which is CJ's top 25 movies of all time.
Oh my gosh. Why? How come I knew this was coming the second that you asked me the other day for that website where you can make top 25s of things? Why did I know this was coming?
Yeah. I don't know, because you're a smart guy.
All right, hit us with these. Let's hear it.
We're not going to spend too much time going over everything. But if you have a question on a group of 5, right? Actually, there's a lot of influence from the two of you in here.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Oh my
it's
gosh.
all hundreds
Are we
of beavers.
Influencers? Oh my god.
You are. You're
Oh my
such
god.
influencers. Jade, I will say you are responsible for at least 3 films on this list.
I'm putting that on my resume immediately.
All right, you ready? Okay.
Yeah.
This is 25 up to 21, okay?
Okay.
25 is Django Unchained.
Good movie.
24 is Goofy Movie.
Okay.
23 is Coming to America. 22 is Challengers.
Nice.
And 21 is Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Oh, such good movies.
Pretty solid 5.
That's a pretty solid bottom of the list. Okay. 20 through 16. Number 20 is Chef. Number 19 is John Wick. Number 18 is Into the Spider-Verse. Number 17 is The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. And number 16 is The Dark Knight.
Okay.
Solid 5.
Number 15 is The Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, above The Dark Knight.
Yeah. That was that was actually more difficult than some of the other placements
Wow.
on this list.
Honestly, I'm kind of intrigued that it's so low. I thought you really, really enjoyed that movie.
You hated it.
You
hated it. At number 15 of all time, you thought it sucked.
This is me every time that Tommy rates a movie, anything below 4 stars that we see together, by the way. I think he hated it.
Number 14 is Goodfellas. Number 13 is The Banshees of Inisherin. Number 12 is Young Frankenstein. And number 11 is The Quiet Man.
I have not seen any of those.
A lot of okie dokies on here.
Yeah.
Well, Jade, you've seen Goodfellas.
Oh, yeah, I don't count that one. That one was a fever dream for me.
All right. You ready for 10 through 6?
Yes.
Number 10 is, this is my top 10 favorite movies of all time. Number 10 is Sinners.
What?
Yes.
What?
Sinners
Oh
really had an effect on me, really had an impact on me.
Whoa!
So high above Challengers.
Yeah.
And so high above the Batman. Oh my gosh. Okay, sorry. Sorry to interrupt you. Please keep going.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Number 9 is, so here's what I like more than Sinners, okay?
Mhm.
Of all the movies that have
Of
ever
all the
existed,
movies
these
that
are
I've-
the only 9 that are better than Sinners.
These are the only
Wow.
9 that I like more than Sinners at the moment.
Yes.
Number 9 is the Muppet movie.
What a
Of
back to
course.
back.
It's a classic.
Number 8 is La La Land.
Oh, good movie.
Briefly, Best Picture winner.
Oh.
Number 7 is Pulp Fiction, and number 6 is True Grit with Jeff Daniels. No, the dude, Big Lebowski. What's his name?
Jeff Daniels. No.
No.
Yeah, Jeff Daniels.
No.
Yeah, no. Jeff Daniels.
No. Stop it.
No. Jeff Daniels.
No.
No. Jeff Daniels.
Jeff Bridges.
I don't think so. I think it's Jeff Daniels, the guy from
Stop
Dumb
it.
and Dumber.
No. And then my top 5. Number 5 is Tombstone. Number 4 is The Blues Brothers. Number 3 is The Searchers. Number 2 is Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? And number 1 is The Rare Breed, which is my favorite movie from when I was a kid and has incredible nostalgia factor because it's not that good. But that is my top 25. Sinners comes in at number 10. Notable mentions, La La Land at number 8. Eternal Sunshine and Challengers are at 21 and 22, respectively. And Jade, shout out to you for that. And obviously, we watched The Batman, The Quiet Man, Young Frankenstein. What else did we? Coming to America, The Searchers, Tombstone, and Sinners all on the podcast.
That's crazy. This is so exciting.
I'm so pumped for this.
This is exciting. This is so exciting. Oh, I can hear your raisins. I'm glad to hear that you got them open.
Yeah. Not where you thought I was going, huh?
No, this just made my day, though.
Yeah.
I assumed that Sinners, like, as soon as you said top 25 movies of all time, I was like, oh, like, I do think CJ enjoyed it. I wonder where it's going to be. And then as soon as you got past, like, 15, I'm like, there's no way. Like, is CJ just talking about this to talk about this? And then, you know, you're going to throw Sinners down at, 125? Or
That would have been really funny.
that would
My
have been
original
funny.
plan was to pretend that it really scared me and that I hated it, and then to, like, rug sweep you guys, but it didn't work out.
No, I like this so much better. All throughout this week, I myself have been thinking, okay, like, what are the 2 avenues that we're going to go through with CJ if you like this movie or if you don't like this movie in terms of stuff that we can talk about? Because if you came at the start of this podcast and you were like, I really didn't like it, didn't really do anything for me, I was, scared, I didn't really get much from it, I feel like that would change the conversation a lot, right? But I feel like since you did enjoy it now, there's so much we can explore and talk about. So I'm really excited.
I 100% agree.
I was ready for you to hate it, and then we were going to just have to hold your toes to the fire.
You thought I was gonna hate it.
No, I genuinely did think you were going to like it. And at the end of the movie, like, sitting on it this week, I was like, I think CJ liked it.
Mhm.
Maybe not top 10 worthy, but I thought you were for sure going to really like it. Because it's a really good movie. Like, just straight up. And I think that someone with an appreciation for movies like yourself would see that in it and be able to see through it. So I'm glad that that's the case.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm so excited to dive into this with you guys. I want to talk about what I knew going in to this movie, because while I didn't know anything about the movie, I knew some scuttlebutt about the movie, the business of the movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
There were people after the movie came out that were really obsessing over the box office for the movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember that being a thing, and I remember people saying it was a failure, and there were lots of posts and articles, and it felt like every day there was just something about, oh, well, this movie's not successful because it didn't make X amount of dollars at the box office, and it's like, okay, well, it's an R-rated film. I have that right? It's a rated R film,
Mm-hmm.
and those are already challenged because you can't bring kids to it. So that means, I mean, unless you are a bad parent and you bring your toddler to the movie, kids aren't going to see.
That's a whole other discussion.
Yeah, like on its face, according to the label, it's like you're putting a label on your movie that says half the people that go to the movies can't see this. So you're already taking half the people out of the pool. And I'm looking at just the Wikipedia page. I don't have Box Office Mojo in front of me or anything, but it did $366 million against an estimate of $100 million budget. That seems perfectly acceptable. And then I remember there were some people at the time who were saying that the conversations surrounding it were racially charged, I'll say. I don't want to say... I won't go farther than that, but that because it's a black director and Ryan Coogler, and it's a black star, and Michael B. Jordan, with a primarily black or minority cast, that this is that would be, they're looking for it, right? Like they want this movie not to succeed, so that's why all the conversations are about, hey, this movie didn't make all the money. And I would like to say also that I had read and heard, not because this is the people that I subscribe to, but because this shit is unavoidable these days. I had heard people belly aching and whining about, whatever woke, the word that has lost all meaning, that it's as clear as a, muddy newspaper. But, there are some movies that really paint on race issues really thick, and paint it on so thick that it's like, I get it, and then they do so in a way that it takes some of the power out of the swing. Versus something like the scene in 12 Years a Slave. I can never remember the man's name. I can't pronounce it, but Tommy knows how to say it.
Chiwetel Ejiofor?
Yes, thank you. Where he's hanging by the rope and he's just on his tippy toes for hours as the sun goes down and everything. Really powerful stuff, right? Really just... And Paul Dano, just like the ultimate plantation slave driving asshole. Like, he has the chin for it and everything. Right, like all of that kind of come into it. This film doesn't do that at all. This feels totally fine. This feels totally in vibe with everything. They're in the Mississippi Delta, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's the black side of the street, there's the white side of the street. The movie doesn't hit you over the head with it. It's a story. It is I think this isn't like, how do I say this? This isn't a stretch to say this is a black story, which I think, we need more of, but at no point is it like, oh, we're gonna go kill Whitey. It's like the Klan shows up. They're vampires. And it's more about him. The more interesting thing about him is that he's Irish. He's fucking Paddy. Than the fact that he's white.
Mm-hmm.
How's about you let me into your bar and have some of my money? Right?
Your Irish
Like
accent has considerably improved from
Thank you.
Much
the pre-show.
profoundly less Scottish.
I was more going with the Oh gosh, like let me in part. What were you
Oh my God. Yeah, I didn't even know that you were doing Irish at that point.
Oh, man. Well, once I fucking heard Patty, I understood. Right? But then everything after that. And it's so it is also violence, but it's the same way that like Quentin Tarantino uses violence. Quentin Tarantino will have some of the most gratuitous, like Kurosawa, blood-packy, over-the-top spaghetti western, blow your head off violence that he can fit on film. God, the end of Hateful Eight in 70 makes the whole cabin look like it's covered in marinara sauce. But he's doing it against the most deplorable people of society. Nazis, Klansmen, slave owners, hitmen, right?
Mhm.
You're not the people that are getting it are the worst. Who's worse than an army of vampires that were a few minutes ago used to be your friends and family and are now trying to kill you and the Klan? So, if all of that having been said, that was the only thing I knew about this movie coming in, was that people didn't like it because of X, Y, and Z. And I didn't see any reason why those people shouldn't like it, which means that, and of course I knew this before I saw the movie, the answer to my question is they never fucking saw the movie.
Mm.
So, big rant, but all of that was kind of sitting in the back of my head as I was getting ready for this day, and I'm like, none of it bothered me or affected the way that I saw the film or experienced it. It's just, like, why do people, like, prevent themselves from having an experience or enjoying something just because something didn't make money? Who gives a shit?
Yeah, and something to add on to that, just to provide additional context, is a lot of the whole money conversation behind it was very manufactured. Something about this film is that in the deal for the distribution rights and everything, the rights to distributing the film roll back to Ryan Coogler after 25 years, which is pretty, not unheard of. A lot of directors get this, especially bigger directors, but less common for a black director to have this sort of deal worked out. So there were a lot of conversations, and even Ryan Coogler himself was asked about it a couple of times, maybe some like certain intonations, and the fact that Variety, which is the news publication that put out this story initially and began the conversation, Variety's like kind of notoriously a studio mouthpiece. So to have this publication put out this, it's almost kind of feels like a hit job against the film itself. Like, to put this out, spur all of this conversation. It's just, so much of it is rooted not just in bad faith because of the whole political thing, but then also so much in bad faith just from business dealings and trying to throw people under the table.
Yeah, that's good context to add. All right.
But how about we give this film a bit more context? I mean, first off,
yeah,
it's part 2 in our duology of a film that features a white guy who doesn't like hearing the word no with the rundown, which pretty fitting. But, I guess
I don't like hearing that word.
I think we all know how we feel about this film at this point.
Yeah.
Jade and I have not hidden our feelings to any degree. And of course, now we know how CJ feels.
I mean, like, this movie is a fucking banger.
So how about we hop into recapping it? And I understand, CJ, you wanted to take the reins on this one.
I sure do. I am going to recap this as best as I can from memory.
Oh, goodness. Okay.
So please interrupt me if you want, or we can experience the ride that is my memory and color in the book later,
One place I've always said that I've wanted to be is inside CJ's mind, so.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
It's the Thunderdome.
Thunderdome. All right. Okay, so it's like 1932, and we're in Mississippi, okay? And there's Michael B. Jordan and Michael B. Jordan, who are twins, Smoke and Stack, okay? Smoke is like more serious, and Stack is like the more audacious, like buy it for $1, sell it for $2, more lively. In the first half of the film, and I don't think this is really giving away anything, Stack has a lot more going on than Smoke. Smoke is a lot more subdued. Stack has a lot more dialogue. He's doing a lot more. He has a lot more like face act. Like he has a lot more like actual acting, and a lot more of what Smoke is doing is like subdued and like in the face or in like tight shots, right? So they're identical twins. They were in World War I. They worked for the mob in Chicago for a while. And then they stole a bunch of money from the mob, allegedly. And they come back home to Mississippi. And the movie starts, they meet with, what's his name? Hogwood?
No clue. The racist?
Yeah, there's
The Klan member?
this bigot guy who owns a sawmill. And he's like, hey, what do you boy want? What do you want my boy sawmill? And it's like this fucking old derpy sawmill, and Smoke and Stack are like, yeah, we'll take it. And they give him a fucking, like, basically a box or a brown paper bag, and he's like, don't ask us for another cent. Here you go. They're gonna open a juke joint for the local black community, and everywhere around here is like cotton fields. And it's like, oh, alright. So, like, cotton fields, as far as the eye can see. They go to pick people up, and they go from one cotton field, and they gotta go to another cotton field to pick somebody else up. Like, everybody who's working in the cotton field. We'll get to who's not working in the cotton field, but it's a lot of cotton. So, then there's Sammy. Okay, Sammy is a guitarist. His dad is the pastor, so they call him the pastor's boy or the preacher's boy.
Yeah,
And
preacher boy.
His preacher boy. His dad is like, he's like, no the fuck, don't you do it. It's fucking sins. Okay? The blues music that you play is real bad. Don't do it. And he's like, I worked fucking all week. All I want is to go play music. And he's like, you're gonna go play it for drunks and these people or whatever? Like, then he goes and does it. So then they go to the train station, and they're like, all right, you see that bum over there playing the harmonica? This is Stack and Sammy. So Smoke and Stack and Sammy group up. Smoke takes the furniture over to the sawmill. Stack and Sammy go to get the band, right? They got to get entertainment for the juke joint because they're doing it tonight. So Stack and Sammy go to get Delta Slim, who is like half drunk all the time, half bum, but really good harmonica player / piano player. And the way that Stack's getting these people to play is he's just paying out the ass. Like, he's just like, I'm gonna give you $20, and Delta Slim's like, you can give me $20 tonight, but you're not gonna give me $20 every night. And this other place is gonna give me $10 for every Saturday for the next 10 years. So he just gives them $40 and all the fucking beer he can drink. Because the other thing is, this is during Prohibition. We looked it up during the movie, and they don't just have corn liquor, they have beer. Ice cold beer.
They have both Irish beer and they have Italian whiskey.
There you go.
Which is like some, partial subtle storytelling in the background that kind of informs their time in Chicago in combination with the outfits they wear.
Mm-hmm. Correct me if I'm wrong. Stack always wears red.
Yes.
Yes.
And Smoke always wears green.
Blue.
Blue. Yeah.
And Smoke's outfit is more, twee. It is clothing it's associated with like the Irish mob, and then Stax is more associated with the Italian mob. So it's implied that when they were in Chicago, they ripped off the two separate mobs, left them thinking that the other mob ripped them off, and then they stole money. They stole all of this Irish beer and Italian whiskey that they're paying everyone in.
So then they go into town. Is it Smoke? Yeah, Smoke recruits a local shopkeeper couple, Grace and I forget the guy's name.
Bo.
He orders from them a sign and 100 catfish, right?
Yes.
And he's
Yeah,
like,
food
cool.
and a sign.
And I need you to deliver it tonight. Then
Also worth bringing up that the shopkeepers, they also have a daughter.
And they own businesses on both sides of the street, both the white side and the black side of the street.
That's very good. That's a good point. They also get Cornbread, who is working in a cotton field. Stack and Sammy go pick up Cornbread, and
Sorry, real quick. Did you talk about the relation between the Smokestack twins and Sammy?
Sammy is their cousin.
Yeah.
And Smoke goes back to Annie. Annie is his wife, and there's a little tiny grave outside where their baby is, because their baby died, and he goes in and he gets some new hoodoo, because Annie is a hoodoo practitioner. She believes that it helps keep the twins safe. But Smoke is like, well, it didn't save the baby, it didn't save the infant. And then they fuck inside after he gets her to basically come and cook for them tonight.
Oh yeah, he got her to come and
Yeah, he did. And then also at the train station, Stack runs into Mary. Mary is his ex-girlfriend who is white passing, but who's mixed. And she's mad as hell that he left her, but he is he's like, get the fuck away from me, right? So that's basically all the players. You have Delta Slim, so you have Smoke and Stack, the twins, played by Michael B. Jordan. You have Mary, who's played by Haley Steinfeld. You have Sammy, who's played by Miles Catan, whatever his name is. There's Annie, Cornbread, Delta Slim, Grace Chow, and Bo Chow, and then they have a daughter named Lisa who doesn't come. Oh, also at the train station, Sammy meets a married woman named Perline, who he gets to basically say she'll come to the juke joint tonight.
Also, she's a singer.
As she's a singer. Okay, so that's the first act. Everybody is coming to the juke joint tonight to either work or have a good time. Have I missed anything in the first act?
I don't really think so. I mean, the one thing that we didn't talk about in the first act is like the first 3 minutes of the movie, but
Yeah.
it all comes back later. So,
Yep.
No, I think, I think that's a solid first act. And then we have that one thing that transitions us to the second act.
Yep. I am getting to that. Then, this Irish guy, he sounds like this. His name is Paddy. Now his name is Remick. He's been chased by some vampire hunters. I don't know where my Irish accent's going, but that he says that there's some Native Americans that are chasing him. He shows up at this house. He's like smoking when he gets there.
Like not smoking a cigar.
Yeah, he's like on fire. Yeah. He shows up like at sunset. And then he gets there and he's like, hey, I'll give you whatever you want. Just keep me away from them. They show up and they're like, listen, if he went in there we need to come in and help you. And they're like, if you don't fucking leave. Like, they just point the gun at him. And it's the woman. There's a man and a woman couple, basically. And then she intimidates them. The sun goes down. They basically get back in their car and their horses and they leave. She goes back to tell her husband that they're gone, where she finds that Remick has turned the husband into a vampire. And she's next. So,
Also important information, this woman and this man did have a clan robe in their house as well.
So, now Act 2. They are now at the juke joint. The juke joint's got all the furniture. Everybody's there. And Sammy and Delta Slim and Perline all take turns performing on stage. This is when Smoke realizes that a lot of the town is not paid in money. They're paid in store credit. And that means he's not going to be rolling in it like he thinks. And then they have a conversation about how long this place is going to be able to last. And this is with Stack and Annie. And he's just getting really frustrated. And then Sammy starts playing. Like, up to this point, it's mostly been Delta Slim. And then Sammy starts to play. And it's this really trippy sequence where it's like the future and the past. It's like we're in the 1930s. It's like all different eras of people start dancing in the crowd. And all of a sudden, this is really, really cool sequence, by the way, and it ends with like this. I don't know if you want to call it a vision, but it's like the barn is like the barn, the sawmill, the warehouse is on fire. But then everyone's cheering because Sammy's really, really good on the guitar. And then, not that long after, Remick and the couple from earlier show up. And they say they have money. And they want to come in. But because they're white, they get turned away basically on sight. Right? And they are out there playing the guitar, and they're doing their own little song, and it's about as honky gets. And the brothers are like, you go down the street, like, your people are down the street. There's actually a conversation where they're like, hey, like, why don't we let them in? They have money. And it's not even like, hey, it's not just about them having money. If someone steps on their toes or something, the whole clan will be here, right? It could lead to a whole other incident. It's not just about, you got to keep them out so that it doesn't turn into something worse. So they're like, we can't let them in under any circumstances.
Yeah. And can I just add a bit more context to them showing up?
Sure.
And so this is kind of something that we alluded to that we skipped over at the beginning. The film opens with, like, you know, about 30 seconds or a minute just talking about how in different cultures they have the concept of someone who's like a storyteller with music. Their music is so powerful that it connects us to both our past and future. So the sequence that CJ's talking about, it is Sammy letting loose this ability and, you know, transcending through time with everyone at the juke joint, connecting with their ancestors and descendants. And the intro of the film mentions that people with this ability, there's the risk of this power of theirs calling and alluring to like dark presences and dark evil. So Sammy is, you know, figuratively burning the house down with his music. And we see that's when Remick and co like he sees it from afar, more or less. He is called to the juke joint to try and come in this scene because of Sammy's music. He is there specifically because of Sammy.
Yes. there's a conversation between Stack and Mary where Mary's like, "You just left me," and he's like, "I got you set up. I got you married to a good guy. Like, I got you all the things. Like, you were good." And she's like, "I didn't want any of that. I want to be with you." And he's like, I don't remember exactly what he said, but basically it was like, again, you're gonna end up, if someone sees you together with me, it could be the end of you, it could be the end of me, it could be the end of us, it could be the end of other people. Like, it's just not socially acceptable in 1932 to be in a mixed relationship in the South, right? It's just not gonna work. In Mississippi, no less. So they have a moment, and then they're having the conversation about the money, and Stack basically says, "Why don't you go out there and see if you can get those people, see if they want to come back, get their money." And then the decision is made that Mary will go outside because she's white. She looks white. So she goes outside. She sees them sitting on like a stump, a log, a tree, whatever. They're playing their song, and they turn her into a vampire. Then there's this whole scene where she comes back in, and they're dancing or whatever, right? They have this like whole moment together. And then Stack and her go into a room together. I think there's a few other times where there's some nookie going on. I think that Sammy and Perline, I think he licks her like a lollipop, to quote Little Wheezy. And they go into a room together, and she bites Stack. At the same time, there's a card shark going on where the guy gets discovered and the guy is getting the shit beat out of him, and Smoke tells him to go get Stack. Sammy sees that Stack's getting it on with Mary. Sammy goes back to Smoke and is like, "I ain't interrupting him." Smoke comes back, sees Mary bite Stack, and he fucking shoots the shit out of her. Like, blows her the fuck up. Then he's like cradling him in his arms. Mary revives and runs out of the juke joint. Stack dies, and then everything starts to get really kind of messy. Also at this time, Cornbread asks Delta Slim if he'll watch the door so he can take a leak. So Cornbread goes off into the woods. By the way, goes like a mile away from the place. Goes so far into the woods to piss. He gets turned as well. So Smoke kicks everybody out.
Hey man, some people just get stage fright and they gotta make sure there's no one nearby.
Mm-hmm. So I think Annie is like, she thinks it's a hate, is what she says. She's like, "We're dealing with a hate."
Mm-hmm.
And so they kick all the patrons out, and Bo goes outside to get the car started because him and Grace are going to leave. But the vampires turn them all. There's a whole moment basically where it's just the main cast. So who's left, right? So it's Sammy, Smoke, Annie, Delta Slim, Perline, and Grace. I think that's everybody.
Yeah.
And they're the ones left inside. And Cornbread comes back, and they're like, "Where the fuck have you been?" And he says, "I went to go take a leak." And he has to be invited inside. So all vampires have to be invited inside. It's like one of the rules of vampires. They discover this rule that this is going on. And they're like, "You've been here all night. You're a big man. Why don't you just push by us? And he's like, well, that wouldn't be polite, Miss Annie.
Annie's really taking the charge in this moment.
Yeah. And then he's like, well, then fine, pay me and I'll get out of here. So Smoke goes to go in his pocket to pay him, and he tries to drag Smoke outside, where he reveals that he is a vampire, and then they go back inside. They also shoot him in the fucking head. But obviously he's a vampire, he's undead. So then they had locked Stack's body in the closet. Stack is now back. He has revived, and he kicks the door down. It lands on Sammy. He's about to fuck everybody up, and then Annie repels him with pickled garlic juice, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, she splashes that all over his face.
And then she realizes that they're not hates, they're vampires.
Let's go.
And then now you know how to defeat them. They have garlic and whatever else. And killing...
Wooden stakes.
Yeah, wooden stakes. So they can't turn other people back because they are a hive mind. Even though they are a hive mind, their personalities stay intact. If they kill Remick, who's the leader, they won't turn back into humans. They're dead now. So they can't get them to... They can't enter unless somebody invites them in. So Remick is like, well, why don't you guys just join me? Like, being a vampire means you're immortal and you don't have to worry about being persecuted. Like, it's great. Then he's like, okay, fine. I'll leave if you give me Sammy. Sammy has the power to summon the spirits of the people that I've lost, that I'd love to see again. Also, the guy that you bought this place from is the local head of the clan, and he plans to come back at dawn and kill all of you. So, they're like, no, go fuck yourself. And so then Remick's like, fine, if you won't give me Sammy, and you won't join me willingly, I will go to the Chow's house, and I will kill Lisa. Or I will turn Lisa. So, Grace is about to go off the reservation. Like, they, drag her kicking and screaming back into the place. She wants to go out and bring the fight to them, which nobody's willing to do. They just have to wait till sunup, right? Like, oh, we wait till sunup and then it'll be fine. Grace is like, nah. She invites the vampires in, which kicks off the ending sequence of the film. So, Grace, Bo, Sammy, Annie, Delta Slim, and Smoke fight off the vampires. And they do pretty okay. I mean, they have wooden stakes, they have garlic. They're able to basically, kill a couple, hold off a few more. And the other thing that happened right before the fight took place was that Annie asked Smoke, if I get bitten, please kill me. I don't want to turn. I have to die. So, Grace, Bo, Annie, and Delta Slim die. And Smoke kills Annie. And, Mary and Stack they fucking lose it, because their whole thing was like, now we can be together forever. Like, we don't have to worry about losing each other. Like, their whole motivation, quote-unquote motivation for doing this was, we'll be together forever if we just become vampires. Which Annie didn't want. So Smoke kills Annie, and then Smoke and Stack start fighting, and Sammy and Smoke are basically the only two left. Delta Slim kind of goes out like a boss, which I thought was really cool. He basically lets himself be consumed. Then Sammy gets outside, and he's running toward the water, and Smoke and Stack are fighting each other, and Remick is toying with Sammy in the water. He quote unquote just dunks his head in the water like he's baptizing him. They do the Our Father prayer, and then all of the couple things I remembered. Remick also killed Perline, and Mary left after Annie died. Okay, yes. All right. Then the sun comes up and kills all the vampires. Smoke and Sammy are all that's left. And he sends Sammy home because he knows that the clan is coming. And they had alluded that they had a trunk outside that they could use to help defend the place, but it was outside. So they couldn't use it. Now they can use it because it's the end of the movie and they're going to use it to kill the clan. It's like got fucking grenades in it. It's got like a Browning machine gun, a Tommy gun. He destroys them, but he's fatally wounded. And then he looks over and he sees Annie holding his daughter after dying. And he's like, okay, cool. So like, put out that cigarette and you can come hold her. So then he's like, all right, I'm into it. Then Sammy, who was promised that he'd be allowed to drive Stack's car the next day, drives back to his father's church with the scars across his face, covered in blood, with nothing but the head of his guitar and some strings left after fighting the vampire horde. And his father is like, this is the beginning scene of the movie that Tommy alluded to. He's like, please give up your sinful ways, seek salvation, like, become a man of Christ or whatever. And he's like, nah, I'm good. And he goes to Chicago. And that's the quote-unquote end of the movie, except it's not. It fast forwards to 1992, so that's 60 years later. Sammy's now an old man. He's a successful blues musician. And after the show, he's visited by Stack and Mary, who Mary got away that night after Annie died. And Stack reveals that Smoke spared him on the condition that he let Sammy live in peace. Now that Sammy's old, they kind of offer, hey, do you want us to turn you? You can live forever. Doesn't have to be the end. And Sammy's like, no, I'm good. He performs for them on his guitar. And as they leave, Sammy says that despite that night being, like, awful, until the violence, until, like, all the vampire shit, it was, like, the best day of his life. And Stack says, yeah, it was. It was the last time I saw my brother or the sun. And it was the only time that they were ever free. How would I do?
You did a beautiful job.
Thank you.
Except you didn't talk about how at the end of the credits, we then see some more Sammy playing some guitar, playing this little light of mine. I mean, that's like the most important scene in the entire film. You know, without that, you don't have really the proper context under which to frame the rest of the plot.
That's fair. That's fair.
So, I guess, CJ, I kind of want to open the floor back up to you. Now that we've gone through the movie and the plot elements and everything, what did you love about this? What in particular called to you? Was it any specific thing in it? Was it just the sum of the parts?
So, there's a lot of great things here. Okay. So, when we were going through it the first time, and, you know, we're watching it and everything, the scene where Sammy starts to play the guitar, I didn't realize how important that scene was going to be for the whole, like, I don't know, totality of the film.
Are you talking about when he's playing Travelin' in the car?
No,
or the cultural scene?
The cultural scene.
Okay.
And so at first I'm kind of like, oh, this is kind of going in a weird direction. But I think that ended up being, in hindsight, probably one of my favorite sequences in the whole film, even though it is a little odd. Man. The performance of Michael B. Jordan, by the way, really good. Smoke and Stack, to me, do feel like two different people.
Very much so.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not because one of them has a lisp or, a broken tooth or, something like that, right? Like, they feel different because they are different. They act differently. It's not because of the clothes that they wear. It's more than that. So, all that having been said, the movie just gets so much out of everybody involved. All the actors involved give so much. There really isn't like a hanging shed. The guy who played the vampire is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jack O'Connell.
Jack O'Connell.
He's fantastic.
I think you mean Patty.
Yeah.
Yep. So Patty was great. And it just fit. Right? It just feels right. And I'll add that this movie is like a couple steps in either direction from being either another slasher film or too much to swallow.
Mm.
If they go too far out of the lane to the right, it's literally just any other. It's literally From Dusk Till Dawn. If they go out of the lane a little bit to the left, then it's too much, right? Like, I was reading somebody's criticism of this, and sometimes I feel like if I'm unsure of something, reading somebody who really hates it sometimes helps embolden me on the thing, right? Seeing how, in the way that they describe they hate something. And I heard people talking about how the end of the movie doesn't really make any sense, or it kind of feels cobbled together, or how it just kind of happens. I really appreciate that the first, basically, hour of this movie, there's no vampires.
Hmm.
It's
What
really-
what is it about that you find added to the story that the film was conveying?
It's a story about characters, you know?
Mhm.
It's about these people who are trying to have a place of their own. So much of everything that's going on is like, okay, perfect example. What does having a place of your own as a club mean in the Delta in 1932? Why can't Delta Slim just go to the White Club? First of all, he wasn't welcome. Second of all, he doesn't have any money. They pay him in store credit, right? He literally, the sharecroppers literally owe their soul to the company store, right? If you've heard famous 16 Tons song, right? That's what that means. I found it so interesting that the evil that undid them was the immigrants. It was an Irish immigrant, right? And all the stuff that you guys were talking about too, about man, you made the great point about one of them is dressed like the Irish outfit and one of them's dressed like the Italian.
Yeah,
outfit.
the mobs that they ripped off.
And, it's like, there's a lot of cultural overtones in, like, white America. It's like, okay, to get theirs, to get what they had coming to them, or they had to take it, to get anything of theirs, they had to literally take it. I just find the whole conversation to be compelling and interesting, and I think impactful. I think that there's a lot going on there. There's a lot of story to be told there. And like I said, if you tell too much, then it's too much. Then it's too hard to swallow. It's like a horse pill. But they told just enough, right? Like, if they don't hit you over the head with it. It's like the club won't the club won't be successful because they get paid in store script.
And there's so many, so much information in the storytelling is given to you, not over the head. It is pretty subtle stuff, like, the outfits that we were talking about, or just like little things in the ways characters respond to things. Like when Smoke goes to town and he's going to talk to Bo and Grace, and he stops a little girl on the street and he's like, "Hey, you heard of the Smokestack twins?" She goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "Well, I'm Smoke." And she has this like afraid, timid reaction that's followed shortly up by like when he says, "I'm trying to put some money in your pocket." Like, just the range of her reaction to him tells so much and paints in so much of the corners around what these characters mean to this town, this area, all these people, the reputation they have. There's just so much storytelling done without exposition.
Yeah, 100%. Subtler still, the fact that one of them believes in hoodoo, yes, does fit the narrative of it being a vampire movie. But that's a very real part of the American landscape at this time, is that sort of like spiritualism, especially in the South, definitely in the Delta. And in more depressed areas, it's more prevalent at this time. So, the fact that this character exists, and she exists because it's a vampire movie and you need somebody to make sense of that for you, but it also exists because it is real, right? It's like, sometimes these movies hold up a mirror and you're like, what the fuck is this, right? But this movie feels like it holds up a mirror at something and it's like, okay, yeah, like I understand what this is supposed to portray, Like I kind of get this.
Yeah.
Even if it's not reflective of my own experiences. And the last thing I want to say before I turn it over to you two, because I've been talking way too much. Man, I really loved the guy who played Sammy.
Yeah, Miles Catton.
Which there's a lot to say about him too. Like, I don't know how much backstory or like how much you've gone into this past week in researching or just like reading or watching videos on the cast and their preparation for this film. But we can definitely go into Miles as well. But sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. I've lost my thoughts. I'm turning it over to y'all.
Well, I guess I'll just follow up with what I wanted to say about Miles in particular, that this was his first ever acting role, I believe. He also learned guitar specifically for this movie, for this film. He is a musician. He toured with, I think he opened for Her, Her, the artist Her. And when he was asked to be a part of this film, or when he auditioned for this film, he picked up guitar specifically for this, which I find incredibly not only interesting, but so impressive with how compelling his performance was and how, him and his guitar playing really was the root of the film. It was really what brought this film together. It was what they were fighting for. It was what Sammy's character was able to create for the culture was ultimately what Remick was in search for. So just his ability to convey that was so compelling and so impressive. And when I heard that, I was just blown away with what he was able to do.
Yeah, really, really fantastic. And it's like so gutsy having an actor with zero experience playing what is ultimately, the most important role in the film. Like, he is the character at the center of the plot and many of the themes. And if you have like a weak performance turned out there, or maybe, you know, someone who their presence on screen comes across more as like, you know, annoying little cousin than confident young man, like that totally changes the tone of this whole thing and could make it really just fall flat on its face. But my God, is he so goddamn good.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you know, you're talking about him learning how to play and whatnot, just adds so much to the scenes where he's playing. The fact that he actually is playing and singing, and he has such an incredible voice. Oh my God.
Oh my God. Yeah.
There's
Man,
a
I wish I
video.
could spread that on toast.
There's a video we should send you after, CJ, of both him and the composer, Ludwig Göransson, performing shortly after Sinners was released. They performed in like a bar or something, the both of them, and oh my gosh, so great, so great.
Yeah. I actually was going to talk about the what's his name? Ludwig Göransson. So this is his like I think he's collaborated with Ryan Coogler on every on every film that Coogler has directed.
Yeah, did they know each other from college?
I
don't
don't know
know
that part, but he was at university that Ludwig met Ryan Coogler. Yep. Okay. USC. Yep. So that would be. Let me see. Let me try not to make an ass of myself. Ryan Coogler directed Fruitvale Station in 2013, Creed, Black Panther 1 and 2, and then this. Right. That's 5.
Creed 1 and 2. He did.
He didn't direct Creed 2, but he was involved.
He was involved, yeah.
Got it. I'm trying to think. What else did he do with Coogler? Or sorry, I'm thinking. Did he do something with Favreau? I'm thinking of Favreau.
Ludwig Göransson. He did
He has-
Mandalorian.
He has an incredible filmography that he's been a part of.
He is really developing a name for himself in just pure like credentials.
I was just saying, Tommy and I recently started watching New Girl. I have rewatched New Girl, and we did the Leo DiCaprio point at the screen bit because he is a composer on New Girl, the TV show, too, which is crazy. Like, he's in everything.
Yeah. I remembered him being from The Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he also did Oppenheimer.
He did.
And, God.
He's going to do the Odyssey as well.
Oh, God. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to see that, but we'll see. It's so funny, New Girl. Some girl I was dating in college was really into it, and she, like, really wanted me to watch it and like it. But the only way that we had to watch it at the time was to watch it on video on demand on Time Warner. It was such a pain in the ass. Gosh. And there was ads too that were like super slow to load, but so the music in this was really great. There's so many good moments and so much good framing because it doesn't take you long if you I knew that it had something to do with vampires. So like that element for me was not a surprise. I don't know if that's supposed to be a surprise. If you're supposed to get to this movie and not know that it has vampires in it. But if it is the case, and you don't know anything about vampires, and you're supposed to be surprised that they can't enter unless they're invited in, whatever. But all those scenes are shot really well. I think that they're framed really well. I think all the people crowded in the door versus the one person outside trying to negotiate their way in. And there's like I want to call them bluff charges. Like Cornbread like takes a step toward the door and stops like twice.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they shit on Mary, or is it Annie? No, Mary. he argues with Mary. He's like, "You've been coming in and out of here all night." The first time that Mary shows up, she like pushes her way past Cornbread, which you pointed out to me when we were watching it.
Yeah, I actually jotted down. She says, "Now let me on in so I can get a drink," and just kind of like barges on in.
Mm-hmm. And they're like, "Well, now that wouldn't be very polite."
Well, Mary is able to get successfully in the second time by just using very similar language. And yeah, she's just straight up invited back in. That's one of the reasons why she's able to get back in. But yeah, Cornbread is not doing great with trying to sell it.
Hey, in our boy Cornbread's defense, there's no reason he should have expected vampires to be in the area.
This is true.
Like, yeah, there were some weird singing white folk out there, but no reason to expect vampires. And
also, Bo probably did worse than Cornbread.
Yeah, just there's someone being murdered next to him, and he's just not even looking at it.
Remember the guy they threw out there that wasn't a vampire?
Yeah. What a great turn. Oh my God. Which, I think that like makes it worth mentioning. This movie's pretty funny. There's a lot of humor in it, especially Delroy Lindo as Delta Slim. Like, I don't think you went over this scene in the recap, but there's a scene where,
they
once
have to eat the garlic.
Yeah, once they figured out that it's vampires, they're like, okay, well, we need to make sure none of us are vampires. So they all go around eating a clove of garlic,
which is straight out of the thing we said in the commentary track.
Yeah. And not only do they do the fake out once of one character, like I think it's what's her name? Perline. Yeah. She doesn't like garlic, so she's like very hesitant to eat it. And then freaking Delta Slim starts like almost choking on it and coughing because he's drank too much. And it's just totally played for humor. Like the fact that they didn't do the fake out once but twice, it's like, oh my God. It's just so extra, but absolutely hilarious. And like the scene at the door, like you were talking about, where just not even minding the fact that a dude's getting his face all ate up right next to him. Mm-hmm. He's just like, oh, him? Oh, yeah, well, he'll probably feel it in the morning. Well, let's go. Come on, let's go.
I also think that something this movie does really well is, for all the serious things we're talking about, it stays pretty light on its feet the whole time. You're talking about that scene with the garlic. There is a moment in this movie where I was yelling, like, just eat the garlic. You have to eat it's not a choice. We'll just shoot you. Like, you have to eat the garlic.
The thing
she wouldn't eat it. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. No, I was just going to say the thing that I like about the humor in this film, particularly when it relates to humor, is usually when you see horror or when you see humor in horror movies, it's like a way to release the tension, right? It's like a way to get you to take a deep breath, chuckle a little bit and, get back to it. It'll be a setup for a jump scare, or it'll, it keeps you on the back foot a little bit. There's genuine parts of this movie that are just funny. Like, it's not used as a device to set you up for the next scene or the next thing that happens. It's not, necessarily to lighten the mood, though it does help with that a little bit. It's just funny. And that's one of the reasons why I love it too, because I feel like it's very cohesive as a horror movie and a comedy and drama. It just does it all.
There's a episode of The Simpsons called Maximum Homer Drive, where Homer becomes a truck driver, and they take the big rig to the drive-in movie, and it's like the movie's called like It Ate Everyone, and they're like, did it eat the professor? And the guy's like, it ate everyone. And she's like, the girl's like, well, did it eat so-and-so? And Homer and Bart are in the truck. They're like, it ate everyone. And during the scene with the garlic, I'm like, it ate the garlic. It ate everyone. Like, what are you doing? Also, it makes no sense to leave the juke joint once you've determined that they... Because, like, my thing with Grace was that Grace kept trying to leave.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I get it, but knock it off.
Well, I mean, they did introduce like a reason why she felt she needed to leave, and it was for the protection of their daughter. And that brings back in the hive mind concept, which I felt like was really well done. And, he speaks Mandarin to Grace because, as in Remick speaks Mandarin to Grace, um, to show that he has all of his thoughts and memories and knowledge and everything. That, yeah, of course they would go to Lisa and turn Lisa as a means to try and get them out of the barn, out of the sawmill. So it introduced those stakes, which I do feel like was well done. Because, yeah, in every instance, in every horror movie, you're like, yeah, just stay inside. Don't leave. Why would you let them in? Why would you open the door? Why would you answer the phone? All of those questions, I feel like this was well done in the sense that, like, yeah, it does introduce the stakes and it's believable stakes.
Very true, very true.
And then, so speaking of these door scenes and letting them in, I do want to just talk briefly again about the scene where Cornbread's trying to get in. And it's the scene where Annie really is able to diagnose the situation that this is vampires. And it's just such a well-written scene. Like, people have such hard-ons for like competency porn in shows and movies. And this scene is, I think, one amazing example of that, because she totally takes over this conversation. And like anytime Cornbread tries like turning the conversation to smoke and trying to get someone else to slip up, Annie like every time is like, no, me and you are talking, like not anyone else. It's just me and you. And she just talks circles around him. Like, she really figures out his game quick. And it's just so satisfying. It's like, to your point, Jade, especially in horror films, having these things that like respect the viewer, and that you're not sitting there yelling at the screen like, just do this, it's a vampire,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. I don't know that I've heard the term competency porn, which makes me feel a little embarrassed, because I know that people rage about that, and I am just finding myself at a crossroads of ignorance. But could you just spell that out for me for a second?
Competency porn?
Yeah, it's what you said.
COMPETENCYPORN.
I will fucking kill you.
So it's like, I've not watched it yet.
Damn you.
I've not watched it yet, but I've heard The Pit is a good example. It's just, you have characters who it's satisfying watching people be good at something and then they do it. It's not like there's any contrived drama from like, oh, we don't know exactly what to do here. Oh, we need to figure something out. It's just like professionals doing their job, doing it well. And a lot of the pleasure in watching it is derived from seeing people be successful at what they're good at. Like shows like Columbo is a good example of competency porn, because Columbo is like undefeated, right?
Sure. As someone who has watched The Pit, I think that's a really good way to describe The Pit. They get into a crisis situation in that show, and then there is no point where they get overwhelmed. They do, because it's a crisis. But there's no point in that show where you feel like nobody knows what to do next.
Yeah. Yeah, they're all always responding in some calculated way. It's not like what do we do now? Look around the room for someone to be like, I don't know. Someone to make a decision.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I've been an attending physician here for 20 years. We need more blood. Check the couch cushions.
Yes. Yeah, right. Exactly.
It's like very, whatever. Speaking of The Pit, I actually was thinking about this. Like, what at the beginning of the movie, I mentioned "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou," and then it was just rattling around in my brain, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna rewatch this. I rewatched "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou" the other day while I was playing Fire Emblem, and I just had it on the background. I've seen that movie way too many times. I know that movie beat for beat, and I said, okay, well, I'll just have it on. And then at some point, I stopped playing the game, and I'm just watching the movie, and I'm like, I stopped playing this game, which was the whole point of the reason I put the movie on, to watch the movie. And then I was just drawn in, and I think that there's some parallels here. Like, I think the music in "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou" is such an important part of it, but it never feels like it gets in the way. And there's an old-timey-ness to both soundtracks that I really appreciate. Right? Both soundtracks have a quality about them that feel sepia-toned. I don't know how to say that in another way. They feel dusty. They feel like modest. Not the blues stuff or the Sammy stuff per se, but like the songs that Remick plays, right? What's that fucking thing that they play on the stump? They're playing at the door.
Pick Poor Robin Clean.
Yeah, Pick Poor Robin Clean.
Yeah, that's
right?
the one at the door. Oh, which
Such a
comes
morbid
back
song
later.
in context, yeah.
Yeah, and it comes back later when they're all approaching the juke joint, like ready to, do their final siege.
Yeah,
But what a great song choice. Yeah.
What a great song.
Gosh, their little choreography they do at the door too gets me every time.
Yeah, when they like all turn the guitars. They're so cheeky about it. Oh, it's great.
In another
Stack
context,
was into it too.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's my favorite part. Is he becomes part of the hive mind and becomes a honky. No, but like in another context, I could definitely see like Pick Poor Robin Clean in "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?"
Yeah, definitely.
And so I think that I can best describe Sinners as if Robert Rodriguez made "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?"
What a weird pick, going with the man who made Spy Kids. This is Spy Kids. Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, everyone? You hear that?
Yeah, there you go. That's definitely the movie I was thinking of too.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. Speaking of the song choices, the music. Can we talk for a little bit about the music and the song choices and the performances? I guess, CJ, how did you like the music in this movie?
Oh God, I was tapping my foot the whole time.
Yeah?
Oh yeah, I was dancing at my desk.
Have you listened to any of the music since watching?
No, I have given my palate a lot of time to be cleansed because if I ever watch it again, I just really wanted to enjoy it. But talk to me about it. What are your thoughts on the music?
I mean, first off, every single song is a straight up bop. Like, they're all so good.
This is one of those soundtracks that I feel like I've gone through so many times where different songs have become my new favorite, like every single week.
Mm-hmm. And, it's not just the performances and execution of these songs. Like, listening to them sans the context of the film is phenomenal. It's a phenomenal soundtrack. It's a phenomenal score. We've listened to both a shit ton since this movie came out. And just moving beyond that, it's also the context with which the songs add to the film or add to the moment or add to the context historically, like Rocky Road to Dublin. I think we kind of skipped over that one in the recap, but it's like, I can, there is like the big sequence of the film, which is the "I lied to you" part where there's the we are blending past, present, and future. But then the Rocky Road to Dublin is almost like the vampire side. That is their song. That is their big performance.
it's not only their performance, but it's also their story and like Remek's journey, because Remek, from what we're able to deduce, he's been alive for like over 400 years or something.
It's like closer to 1500 because
1500?
he has a
What?
line, yeah, because so later near the end when Sammy's saying the Lord's Prayer,
Mm-hmm.
and Remek starts saying the Lord's Prayer with him, Remek starts talking about how he remembers when men came to his land and forced that prayer on him, which is alluding to Christianity coming to Ireland. And the persecution against the Irish that led to and has rippled throughout history. But like Christianity first came to Ireland in like the 5th century. Like he has been around a long ass time.
Yeah.
Mm.
But thank you for putting that into perspective. That the story of the Rocky Road to Dublin is very much the story of Remek's troubled past and history and what he is hoping to gain out of having Sammy as a part of them too. And it's getting that culture back. It's, this big journey being for something.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and Rocky Road to Dublin is explicitly a song written about a man traveling to his homeland in Ireland and facing persecution from the English along the way as he tries to get home.
Yeah.
And I think that all just ties thematically, going from music to something else, like that all ties thematically into the center of this film, like all of the ways that it balances race and persecution and assimilation and other ways that it can be grafted onto other parts of American culture, like black musicians being appropriated by white musicians. Like look at Elvis, like the most famous example of a white boy playing black music and having success that no black musician could have solely because he was white. Not solely, like he of course could sing and perform, but because he was white, he could have this career that no black musicians were afforded at the time. And I think you see like ripples of that thematically in this as well, with Remek being this white, like he's more complicated than just evil white man, but that still plays to a degree. This white man showing up at the door and wanting the music and culture that Sammy is able to provide. It's just, there's so much to this movie that is said by the music and all of the musical aspects of it.
Yeah.
I agree with you, fellas.
Okay, Timothy Blake Nelson.
Well, I'm with you, fellas. Yeah, man. So much. It's weird. There's so much praise I want to give it that there's none that I have for it. I'm paralyzed by praise.
Yeah, it's just everything about this movie fucking rules.
Yeah, everything is really strong.
Yeah.
So, man, I think if I were to have like a favorite scene, I'll try and kind of go that way. First of all, the woman that plays, and I love Haley Steinfeld. One of my favorite movies, like I said, is True Grit, and that was like her breakout role. So crazy to think that she's not 30. That movie came out in 2010. But man, the actress that plays Annie.
Yeah.
She's
Mosaku.
fantastic.
She's incredible.
I feel like I've seen her in some other stuff, but I just can't remember.
I feel like she, just in terms of like reception of this movie when it first came out, she is the main performance that I feel like I did not see enough people giving her credit for. And don't get me wrong, just like you, I absolutely loved Haley Steinfeld in this role. But I feel like people they didn't necessarily compare them in terms of love interests for both of the Smokestack twins, but I feel like people so heavily focused on Haley Steinfeld that they did not give her enough credit or did not give her enough praise for her performance as well.
Yeah, she's just like so killer in the role. And again, a role that has so much heart to it and is at the center of grounding forces for our characters like Smoke. And also, CJ, you mentioned...
Thank you so much.
Yes, she is Hunter B-15 in Loki.
She was also in We Own This City, which is a David Simon crime drama with John Bernthal and Jamie Hector. And she was the main federal attorney in that show. But I was just like, I've seen her so many times. Where? That smile. The smile is what got me.
That damn smile.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, for sure. And then, to obviously, like, if you're not going to have, like, a monster, if he's not going to be, like, a grotesque beast, he has to be a compelling villain.
Oh my gosh.
And Patty Mayne... No, I can't do it. Hang on. I gotta hear his voice again. Hang on. I want to listen to his voice. I stand Colin Barry. It's insane what they do to those people. Okay. But Patty Mayne. He's just like, it's almost like, I've never heard an Irishman with like, he's like monotonous somehow. He's just like one tone the whole movie.
Well, if it adds to anything, Jack O'Connell himself is not from Ireland. He does an Irish accent for those roles.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's English.
His father is Irish, I believe, but he himself is English.
Yeah.
Well, now I don't feel bad about fucking up his accent.
But gosh, yeah, what a performance T did. I think of him just saying, "Sir," like every day.
Was
every
that when they implied that he was like clan affiliated or something?
Yeah.
He's like, "Sir."
Sir.
Like, how dare you?
That's like a vocal stim of mine now.
Oh, it's so
And then
good.
he's like, "Oh, it's because of this," and then he like cuts his own arm or hand or something, implying that he's white. Just like that little performance in the doorway there just cracks me up so much for no reason.
Yeah, that scene's so good as well because, you know, CJ, like you said, compelling villains are so important, and I think Remick is so fascinating and so compelling. Just his, you know, this worldview that he has as a vampire and the way he's able to manipulate his history and the history of others to try and align with his goals. It's just so well done because it never, like, he is evil, but it never feels like his motivations are rooted in, well, I'm an evil dude, you know? It's not like he's, well, they are, but at the same time, it's not like he's like, I want to kill them all. Why? Because they must die. You know, it's more to it than that.
Is he the villain though?
Well, he did threaten a little girl.
I mean, but he's trying to save her. And also, all of them were going to be dead anyway.
I refuse to make Patty Mayne an altruist. I'm going to go out on a limb and say bad guy Patty Mayne.
Okay. But you do have to admit, like, he did warn them that the clan were coming. So, in a way, they were going to be dead either way.
He offers them a way out of persecution. He doesn't want to see them. Yes, he doesn't want to see them be persecuted. Question number 1: where is his other community? Like, did he start his? He's 1,500 years old. Did he start his cult tonight? Like, where is everybody else?
He's been hunting down.
Oh,
You
they've been
know?
hunted down. So he had to
Yeah,
start
there
over.
was the whole thing with the Choctaw Native Americans.
They should have finished the job. Anyway,
Wow.
so he's starting over from scratch. He's got 2 clan members and a bunch of drunks from the juke joint. I'm here, right? I'm right there with you. He had good motivation. I believe they genuinely I think that Stack and Mary's motivation is unimpeachable. They had great motivation for doing the things that they did. They wanted them to join them because they didn't want to live without Smoke and Annie, right? Or their friends. Like, what's eternity without the people you love? Which is exactly Patty Maine's problem. What's his actual name? Remick?
Yes.
That's Remick's problem. He's got the curse of living forever, but he has no way to bring back the people that he's lost. Which is what Sammy...
That's what Sammy's for.
Yeah, that's what Sammy's for. But, in the end, he does get to go join the people that he lost, because his soul leaves his body.
Well, we don't know the actual machinations of vampire souls.
We don't know that. You're right. We
We
also
don't know that
what
he's going to
happens
be
when
like
you normally
reunited.
die.
Well,
Their
it's
souls
kind
could
of the
already
gamble.
be damned to hell.
Well, we do see kind of, I felt that at the end it was very implied that in Smoke's death, in his passing, he was reunited in some sort of afterlife with Annie and their daughter.
It was
But
also
Annie never turned into a vampire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It also is visually implied that he was shot in the gut and he's bleeding out.
Yeah.
And so could heretofore be hallucinating.
He could, yeah, but I felt that it was more on a note like spiritually.
Did you call me a moron?
Yeah, that's exactly what I just did.
You said more on a note, you fucking asshole.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. I felt that it was more the implication of he has passed on and he has found this spiritual peace than he's just bleeding out and he has a happy hallucinated last moment.
My internet just died. You sound like GLaDOS.
It's him.
Oh, thank
I
God.
couldn't hear too.
I felt really bad.
Wow.
You were like GLaDOS for like 30 seconds.
Hell yeah. You should have told me. I would have started singing.
No.
Sorry,
I thought it was
can you
me.
repeat? No, I heard it too. I was waiting until he finished, and then I was.
Yeah, I was just saying. I felt that Smoke's final moment.
I'm sorry, I was doing you. Go ahead.
Rude. You don't see me making fun of you.
You called me a moron.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was exactly what I was saying. It feels as though Smoke's final moment to me was less a hallucination and more like the spiritual closing and the end of his story is he is reunited with these people. He has this spiritual peace at the end, not just he was hallucinating because he was dying. Like, to me, that felt more of a completion of his happy ending than, like, as happy as it can get than...
Mm-hmm.
And I felt then that there's the implication, going back to what we were talking about, the vampire souls. Like, to me, that implies, like, no, there is some sort of peaceful afterlife for those who die a, quote, natural death and not the death that these vampires are submitted to. Because I don't think Remick is like lighting on fire and then laying down on the beach and be like, man, I finally made it. Because at that point, why doesn't he just drive a stake through his own heart a long time ago?
Yeah. Well, it's the gamble. It's what we face. We don't know for sure what's on the other side. The only thing that you have for certain is the here and now. Like, I'm saying there's some ambiguity. But a ghastly cloud of anguish evaporated from his body while it burned in the sun. That's more than enough evidence for me that a soul-like apparition went somewhere. Whether it went up or down, I leave to your discretion. But I'm saying a soul was released.
Went to Toledo.
It also, went to Toledo. We're all truly hell on earth. But also, it did say like Annie was like, we have to kill them so that their souls will be freed or whatever. Or that was her explanation for why he wanted she wanted Smoke to kill her. And I do think that there is a beauty of it where, like, the solution for Smoke and Annie is different than the solution for Stack and Mary. Like, now Stack and Mary can be together forever, and they never have to worry about being persecuted. They lived long enough to see integration. Now they can just be together. They can't go out in the daylight. They're flesh-hungry vampires. They're murderers. But, you know, they are not going to be persecuted ever again. Their love can be out in the open, which is what they wanted and couldn't have before. So, I think it's interesting how both couples got their happy ending through their both sides of that evening.
Yeah,
even though
it feels very fitting and to character for each of them.
Yeah. Something you asked me was who my favorite brother was.
Mm-hmm.
And you asked me that halfway through the movie. And at the time, I would have said Stack. And I was pretty sure about that. And now that I finished the movie, the answer is Smoke. And it's 100% Smoke. And I think it's really because the first half of the movie belongs to Stack, but the second half of the movie belongs to Smoke. And the way that those two characters show off the sides of themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, Stack is all talk, right? All he does is talk. All he does is make deals and wheel and deal and flash cash and buy things and buy people, and
I mean, we do see that from Smoke as well.
True.
The flash, Smoke, the business side of things.
Yeah, but there's a more intensity to Smoke, and I feel like there was more underneath Smoke that he couldn't speak out. There was that shake in his hands, right, where Smoke had to smoke the pipe. There was more trauma there. There was more, he had the death of his daughter, right? That quiet sort of suffering that he has, where he's like, Daddy's here, or Daddy was here, right? And he has that strained relationship with Annie, and he has to kill the woman he loves, right? To save her soul, right? Like, I don't care if she's dying or not. Like, he had to drive a wooden stake through her chest, while his brother and his, a family friend, Mary, whatever you want to say, watched. They did it to her, So, like, he quickly, it shifted. I much more preferred Smoke by the end of the movie.
And I think when I asked you, I'm pretty sure you said something to the effect of, well, if Smoke's given something to do, he's a husk of a character right now.
He hadn't done anything. All he did was bring the furniture to the juke joint.
And he went to Annie.
Yeah, but I didn't even know.
And he wagered the girl. He taught the girl how to barter.
Yeah, I guess it hadn't clicked for me yet. So now I appreciate all that stuff more.
And, something you kind of were talking about is the differences in the twins. I wanted to kind of spin that into talking about color theory with this film, because there's a lot of red and blue, and certain characters are, dressed more in blue, that being Smoke, Annie, Bo. Some are more red, being, of course, Stack. Mary wears pink. Grace wears red. And, like, it definitely feels like you were talking about, these characters wearing red are a bit more impulsive, a bit more, maybe not reckless, but there is a intensity on the surface to these characters.
They lead with their heart rather than their brain sometimes. Yeah. Whereas these blue characters wearing blue are a bit more, a bit more grounded, a bit more observant before action. And like, there's really interesting implementations of this throughout, both from just a clever filmmaking standpoint, which is like stuff like Smoke drives the blue truck, Stack drives the red truck or the red car, and it's a really quick, nice visual shorthand to be able to tell the brothers apart. One wears blue, one wears red. Helps a ton with onboarding your audience to these characters that
might be confusing otherwise because they are the same dude. But then there's also stuff like, Lisa, Bo and Grace's daughter. She's wearing an outfit that's exactly half red and half blue. It's like a red top and blue skirt or something. She is a product of her parents and she's still a child. She hasn't, she is a mixing of the two of them, maybe not fully formed as her own person, her own like individual personality yet. So she is both of them, and just all throughout, just a lot of amazing uses of red and blue for these multiple levels, the shorthand or all the stuff that goes into the characters thematically.
Yeah, no, you nailed it. I agree with you.
Thank you.
I love
your
accept
color
my theory in movies. I love that extra little bit, which I mean, kind of leads me to just question you, CJ. What did you just feel about the directing in this movie as a whole?
I'm pretty sure that Ryan Coogler just consistently gets the best out of, or the most out of Michael B. Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking about some of the other ones. Creed 2 wasn't as good as the first one. He did that awful Fantastic Four movie. Tommy, Jade, did you guys see the Fahrenheit 451 movie that they made?
No.
I did not.
Yeah, me either. He was in... Man, he really works with Ryan Coogler a lot.
Yeah, and that's something that we can talk about in a second after you're finished with your thoughts.
But no, I think he gets so much out of him. I'm not saying he's a bad actor at all. I think he did amazing, but there's so much more here than there should have been. And maybe another director doesn't get that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was, and this is maybe a philosophy that not all directors subscribe to, but it's one that I'm going to mention now. But in general, I think it was Scorsese, or I'm going to say it was Scorsese, but you look for someone that's going to give you 90%. No, it was that's right. It was Quentin Tarantino. You look for someone that's going to give you 90% of what you need, right? And then it's that last 10%, right? It's 90% of what you want. It's like, if the guy needs to look like this, you cast the guy that looks like that. If a guy needs to sound like this, you get a guy that sounds and can talk like that, or can do the accent. Or if a guy needs to, be a certain size, or be tall, or be short, or be funny, or whatever, you get the guy that gives you 90% of what you're looking for, and the other 10% is the direction, right? And so, like, Quentin, when he cast people, he talked about this for the Hateful Eight, and like Walton Goggins in the Hateful Eight gives you 90% of what you're looking for in that role, and it's so true, right? So I just think that everybody in this movie is just giving you so much, and then it's just about unlocking that 10%. And I feel like audiences can really tell whether or not you get that extra 10%. You really feel it, right? It's like, I feel like you get so much out of the extra cast, whether that's Delta Slim or Annie or Mary, or these aren't really big. They're important characters, but they're not big speaking parts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how much screen time does Annie really have? She has 2 scenes in her juke joint outfit, and one of them is at the bar, and one of them's upstairs. And then, like, all hell breaks loose. And before that, she's got 1 scene in her house. So, like, they're not huge parts, but everyone, they feel big because everybody's really, like, over-delivering. So much so, I feel like, what was her name? Wunmi Mosaku?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, I would never have thought she was the fucking guard from Loki. That guard character could have been played by anybody.
Oh,
Right?
definitely.
You know, and she does good in that role. The second season adds more to it, but anybody can play that character. A fucking cardboard cutout can play that character. But it's just like, okay, this is the extra 10%. Show me what you got, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And she has way more screen time in Loki than she did in this. Granted, it's a much longer show, but you get what I'm saying. I hope I got my point across on the acting. I feel like it doesn't feel like a horror movie. It doesn't feel like it's cut like a horror movie. I know I don't watch a lot of horror movie, but I'm interested in what you guys think about the editing aspect of it. It doesn't feel like it's cut that way. I mean, there's a couple jump scares, I guess, but they're more like that interstitial kind of jump cut, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's not like you No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that brings me back to what I said in the pre-show, I believe. And like in this film, the horror genre is just used as a conduit for the larger themes present in the movie. So yeah, it's a horror movie, but it's used as a way to tell the story. It's used for the storytelling purposes of it. And I feel like that's something that was really well done in the screenwriting and directing for the film.
If they could have cut out those couple of jump scares and not marketed this as a horror movie, this movie clears another $100 million. Because it's a rated R horror movie. It just limits who you can sell this movie to. And it did great.
But I feel like that's one of the things that helped the film so much. Not saying the film needed the help, but I feel like that's one of the reasons why it had a bigger second weekend when it came out than it did the first weekend that it came out. Was because of that word of mouth. And people saying, you know, don't fall for the, you know, it's a horror movie, you know, genre of the film. It's so much more than that. And I feel like the people that were able to give it a chance, like you did, CJ, and look past that, I feel like people really benefited from being able to overlook that. But yeah, it had such a bigger second weekend than first weekend because of that word of mouth and people being able to communicate that and really sell the story themselves as well.
There's a person in my mind that goes to the movies and just sees the horror movie of the week. And it is the Target shopper, the yoga pants wearer with the really big waistband, the wears flip-flops everywhere, not slides, but the thong ones, right?
The thong flip-flops.
Yeah, it's socks with flip-flops and yoga pants. I'm going to go see every horror movie once a week. And I can imagine that person seeing this movie and being disappointed walking out of the theater because it's not a horror movie. They paid for something better than what they got. Sorry, they paid for something worse and got something better. So just interesting, I think. But yeah, no. It's not cut that way. The music isn't set that way. The score is not the tightening of the strings, build tension, constantly keep you uneasy. Like, it's not designed that way because that's not the kind of movie it is. And so, really, the marketing for this film should be, it's a Ryan Coogler film. And I'll let you, the listener, determine for yourselves why potentially you did not hear it marketed as a Ryan Coogler film instead of it's a vampire horror movie.
I guess one of the questions that in you talking, CJ, led me to have this thought. Do you guys think that this film could have worked just from the storyline premise as not a vampire movie? And let me follow up with saying, like, the vampire, and I'm using this as a compliment, not as a dig, is a little bit on the nose, right? Because the term vampire, you know, we could see it in the Olivia Rodrigo song too, is just something that sucks for its own use, right? It's either it sucks the life out of you, it sucks your blood, it sucks your fame, it sucks something out of you for its own use, for its own goals. Do you think that this story could have been told not using a literal vampire, but using something different, like potentially, trying to convert them to a cult, or just using words, or do you think it needed to be a vampire film?
In the span of one evening, I feel like you can only do that with the supernatural.
Mm-hmm.
And the supernatural plays so well with the setting of the Delta. But yes, if you changed it into being like a cult, I definitely could see that. The setting would have to, the time frame would have to take place over a much longer period of time. But in terms of like the one night wait for sunrise, I don't think it worked.
Yeah, I agree. I think that there's so much going on thematically that contributes to this film being what it is, that is added by the fact that it's vampires. And I think if you take away the vampire, take away the supernatural, like CJ was just saying, you could make that film, and I'm sure you could make a decent to good thriller out of it. But because vampires aren't like so grounded and they can represent so much and be interpreted in so many ways, it's like almost like an X factor that it adds to it, that if it's just like everything almost exactly the same and it's just like intruders, like the movie The Strangers, like it's just a less interesting movie.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I was wondering in the sense, like, could this have worked any other way? And I agree with you. And like, it could, but it wouldn't be as effective. And I don't think it would have been nearly as good enough as a movie.
Yeah. I can agree with that. Excuse me. I would also say that part of the strength of the metaphor for the vampire is, okay, you have to invite them in. That it's a metaphor about, immigrants, and that there is a danger in letting people in from outside. There's a xenophobia element to vampires, which goes into sort of the persecution element, right?
Which you totally called on the pre-show, by the way.
Hey, I have a brain. But there is another element to this too, right? Where the same is true. You invite in your own undoing. They invite in the vampires kill them. The same is true for when they leave. Leaving your own space, leaving your area, leaving your home will lead to your own doing. So it's a twofold problem in the metaphor of, hey, listen, you invite in your undoing. But if you leave and you go outside of your zone, you will also be led to ruin, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it cuts both ways, like that. So, man, this has been a chock full episode.
I know, right?
So many chocks.
All right. Colonel Tommy, I know that we've touched on some of these things, but do you want to do some cleanup?
I mean, a lot of the things on here is also Jade.
Jade,
yeah, I know. It's more so things that I felt like we could touch on if the conversation led that way. I don't think we need to like super, super deep dive into it. I guess there are a lot of different enemies present in the film. We can see, Sammy's dad. There's a dog pawing at my door right now.
Don't let him in!
Oh my god, is Duncan a vampire? He can only be invited in?
He
Um,
would. He fucking would.
I
He
feel
would
like
sprint outside.
I feel like Dog Vampire, untapped market for a movie.
Pet Cemetery? Does that count?
No.
I think that's more
Was
Pet Zombies.
is that Fred Gwynn in that movie?
There's been 2 Pet Cemeteries. There's been a more recent one, and then there was one that came out in like the 90s. Let me see.
I think it's Fred Gwynn in that movie.
89.
He's like, that damn rod. A damn rod. You were saying? Enemies?
Now
The
I'm looking
church?
at Pet Cemetery. Pet Cemetery. 1 second. And next on the film is Okie Dokie.
Yeah. Ed becomes a zombie.
Yeah, so as I was saying, there are different enemies that we see portrayed in this film. First, Sammy's dad, the preacher, kind of being against blues music as a whole. So you're seeing the church versus the blues. Obviously, we're having the vampires versus the humans. At the same time as, vampires wanting to convert the humans. You guys said that you think that Remick is a villain. I may disagree with you, but I'm outnumbered. And then we also see the clan versus Smoke at the end. What do you guys have to say about the enemies that were present in this film and just kind of the way that they were portrayed, the amount of screen time they had, what you got from their different, wouldn't necessarily say fights, but the different thoughts that they had in battling with one another and what you took from that?
I guess I didn't have many individual thoughts pertaining to like these adversarial forces. Though on that, like, on a tangential thing that plays into that, I just wanted to say that I think having, in this film that's so rooted in and has so much historical context to like Black America and the blues, I think that having your vampire be Irish was just what an incredible decision, because it adds so much. The Irish are people who have also been not to the same extent as Black Americans, but have also faced a lot of persecution here in America. And there's a lot of shared culture between the Irish Americans, Black Americans, and like especially with music. And it just added a whole other layer to all of the themes, like all of the way race plays into the themes of this and the perspectives of the characters. So just wanted to give that a shout.
Yeah, I definitely think the communities that you mentioned, both Irish and the Black community, as well as the Asian community that we see in this film as well, are all marginalized in some way, but they're all marginalized by different people and in different ways, which I found interesting in that capacity, as well as the ways that they were able to come together, or at least try to come together in that shared interest.
I'm with you, fellers. No, I think you two really spot on. I think that there, not to bring this too up to date, but there is more in common with poor white folks and poor Black folks than either group would care or could care to admit. I feel like poverty in America is a greater class separator than race, but it is more for the interest of the powers that be, that the little people fight a class or a race war instead of a class war.
Right. It's like we shouldn't be looking left or right. We should be looking up.
Yes. Because the second you start being like, okay, you don't have any money and I don't have any money, who has all the fucking money? And then you have to look up, and the people that you look up at are the people that are making the decisions that make it so you don't have any money.
Mhm.
So, or that don't have your best interest at heart. It is one of the more interesting aspects of the world because a group of people that intrinsically, the more extreme of both ends, you know, poor racist white Americans despising poor black Americans. It's like, okay, but you guys eat the same shit. You live in the same housing. Your kids go to the same schools, right? Like, you live the same life.
Mhm.
You know? It's like there's an element there that is, I think, a parallel to Irish and black culture represented in this film. It's like, hey, come outside. We're like, you're like us. And it's like, I swear to God, if it was the other way around, if Smoke had been turned into a vampire and Stack was inside, Stack might have gone outside. Stack might have just been like, what the fuck did you say? Like, if it plays
Yeah.
out any other way, I don't think Sammy makes it out.
Yeah, there's a YouTuber who I follow who he himself is a twin, and his letterboxd review is like, ask me to live forever without my twin brother and I'm putting a stake through my goddamn heart. Like,
Oh, wow.
definitely this plays out so differently if it's Smoke who gets I guess turned
Oh,
first
yeah.
compared to Stack. Man.
I don't know that, like, Stack would be out there like, all right, I'm coming.
I wanted to go back really quickly to what you were saying about classism in society and in this film present as well. I actually watched an interview last week with this woman. Her name is Hannah Flint. She interviewed both Delroy Lindo and Ryan Coogler, and she had some really interesting thoughts on the film. But she classified, or she had the theory that the vampires were actually Marxist. What, what are your guys' thoughts on that? Because I feel like that does tie into the classism and the capitalism that the society is set up for them to fail. They're paying with wooden nickels, and uh, the people that are in power are the people that have the most money. So I could see how that could be present, but I would be curious your guys' thoughts on that.
Oh, I guess I personally I had never really considered it, and I just on the surface of course I do see some parallels or analogs that could probably be drawn between Marxism and the vampires in this film. But I feel like, as with anything that is like a cemented status quo, I feel like you could really like really work it in some way to have most political philosophies that are anti-capitalistic in nature be resonant to some of the themes in this. So I guess I see it. I'm not sure that it's a comparison I would come to myself or make myself, but I could see it, but I could also see it's like, well, I feel like we could say that about a good handful of things and the way they map.
I think the reason why I found it particularly interesting, being that this was my third watch of the film, is like having watched that interview before watching this film the third time, I was a lot more focused on the money throughout the film and seeing the money exchange between everyone. And it's in like every scene. Every single scene you see, there's some focus on money in some sense. So I can see it. But I wouldn't necessarily call, Remick a Marxist by nature, but there is definitely a very big focus on money in this film.
He just has a pocket full of gold.
It's a little on the nose, isn't it?
Yeah. He's a leprechaun.
Wow. Is it because he's short?
Yeah. Also,
How tall
I
is
hate
Jack
Wow.
O'Connell?
Like
how,
what, 4'2"?
how tall is Jack
I don't know.
O'Connell?
Hey Google, how many
5'8".
potatoes did Patty need in his contract? 5'8". Wow.
It's 5'8".
Is that why? Is that why they always shot it from the door so that you never had to see how tall they were next to each other? Because cornbread never stands in the doorway. Cornbread always stands outside the doorway, or like leaned up against it in a far shot.
You know,
Well,
I
they
never
do.
understood. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, in the doorway scenes, like, I feel as though we are in the scenes with Remick, we are looking down on him a bit. I don't feel as though his height was anything they tried to hide or anything like that.
No, but how tall is Michael B. Jordan? I guess is my point.
I don't know, like 7'18".
Thank you.
Let me look it up.
See,
He is 6 foot tall.
okay. Yeah, so you don't want to put Michael B. Jordan on the same height level as Jack O'Connell because he'll tower over him. But, you do want to look down on him. So from that perspective, it's a good shot.
You know, I've never understood what is it with men and their emphasis on height.
As someone who is a secure above 6 foot, I don't feel as though I have much room to talk here.
As someone who, for most of their life, was 6 foot and recently found out that I'm 5'10" and 3/4, I gotta say, it messes with you a little bit. I don't know why. Like, people make such a big deal about it.
Have you
Like,
guys seen those like pictures and and videos and stuff of like men standing on boxes in order to be in like the same scenes as tall women?
Yeah.
Like, what is with that?
It's like when in audition tapes and everything, and when in auditions, people, one of the first things they say is their height, because it's very important when it comes to the actual directing and staging of shots.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
sorry to go off on that tangent.
No, you're fine. I've met a lot of women that height is very important. But I am looking for a woman with 3 boobs, and suddenly I have unrealistic expectations.
Have you tried the circus?
Yeah, but I only get calls back from the bearded lady.
Mm.
They, them.
Oh my God.
I made myself laugh with my own joke. Such an idiot. All right. So, does anyone else have anything about the movie?
I guess one thing I wanted to ask is, CJ, what's your favorite song from the movie?
The one with Sammy in the car.
Traveling?
Okay, Traveling.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Right, and I said I would learn that one on guitar for you. I'll have to get to work on that at some point.
Yeah, you have until GDQ.
Until GDQ? Oh, I'm not bringing a guitar to GDQ.
I'll bring one.
You'll bring... Okay.
You should bring the Cordoba to GDQ. It's small enough to fit in the car.
Maybe. I just...
It's the guitar or one of the dogs.
Oh my God, could you imagine?
Well, CJ, which dog would you want a room with for
yes,
a week?
Okay.
CJ, which dog is your favorite?
Okay, I know which dog I'd want a room with for a week, and the answer is Dunk. It's clearly Duncan.
Why?
Because Edison is gonna crush my freaking nuts if I have to room with her for a week. You know how many times she stomped on my Good and Plenty while I was visiting you?
Skill issue.
Skill issue.
I remember vividly that at one point I was sitting on the end and I didn't realize that was the splash zone.
Oh yeah.
And then Jade sat there for a movie and I felt really bad throwing the ball.
Oh, I'm used to it.
But I got my grapes crushed, so I was like, at one point I was like, you know what? I'm throwing this one all the way into the airlock.
Though I will say this new place that we have, the couch is like perpendicular to where we throw it. So usually the dogs come from the back of the couch. So there's no like super great splash zone now because there's less of an impact. Yeah, there's less of an impact with them jumping up the back of the couch.
So is Dunk the wrong answer? Would you rather room with Ed?
We don't have favorites.
Yeah, we would never pick one over the other.
It's either both of them or none of them.
I don't believe you, but okay. Okay. So yeah.
So your favorite song is Travelin'.
Yeah, what about you, Jade?
Right now mine is The Last Time I Seen the Sun. I think like especially watching this movie again and um old Sammy saying at
Mm-hmm.
the end of the movie and then talking to Michael B. Jordan as well, talking about how up until the sun went down, it was the best day of his life.
Mm-hmm.
And Stack saying, yeah, that's the last time that I saw the sun. Like it particularly really hit for me this past time that I watched it. And just like how beautiful the scenes with the sun were throughout the film and just listening to it. And I feel like the way that the song is constructed is just so beautiful with him singing it with Pearline. And yeah, I just thought it was great.
Nice.
What about you, Tommy?
I think my number one song from the movie right now is from the score. It's the Smokestack Twins, which just fantastic song. But if I'm picking a song from the soundtrack, one that's in there that people be singing, it might be Rocky Road to Dublin. Like it's either Rocky Road to Dublin or I Lied to You. Like just both such resonant songs in the film, and then just on their own, amazing. Like we Jade and I have a friend in real life who's very into his Irish heritage. And right when we saw this movie, I texted him. I was like, 1, you've got to see it. You would love it. 2, there is a song in this movie you will be adding to your St. Patrick's Day playlist. They typically host or organize our St. Patrick's Day friends gatherings.
Got it.
And
okay.
he'll, like, it was at their house last year, and he just has a St. Patrick's Day playlist he puts on every year. And that 100% is going in it because it works just as a song that you would play at a social gathering. Like, of course, it's a bit niche in subject matter, but really fantastic. And the visuals of it in the movie, A+, A+, A+.
My favorite song, like immediately after I saw the film for the first time, was Will Ye Go, Lassie Go. Still great song in my book. It's just not my favorite currently. I feel like we didn't talk about that song this entire podcast so far. My goodness, what a beautiful song. Especially with Lola Kirk's, like, she just has such a beautiful voice. My goodness.
Yeah, and they all harmonize so well.
So good. So good.
So
yeah.
another important question is, CJ, could you have done a Sinners? Well, it depends. Who am I?
Yeah. Well, there's like a bunch of main
CJ?
characters.
I mean, all right. Let's say I would have to. I mean, they're all kind of in the same boat, I don't think it makes too much of a difference. You're trapped in the juke joint. I think there's a vampire stack in the next room.
Listen. Stack, I can 100% do. Stack dies,
So
and then lives forever.
That's
not
easy. No, yeah.
I
Well,
mean, he had to survive.
yeah,
Still, he
but
had
that's
to
like saying,
run
well,
away.
who am I? Well, if I'm the bus driver, yeah, I could do it because all I got to do is be in the one seat and drive the bus. It's like, well, that's not clearly who we're talking about. We're talking about the.
No, we're talking about could you be that character in the movie and
So-
do that and be that character? And I said
All right.
I can do Stack. Yeah.
You're in the juke joint.
Do you think you
Yeah.
could
There's a-
survive like another 60 years?
As a vampire?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
That's a lot of hunting.
that's a
and
lot of
feeding.
years.
Well, the movie never establishes that I have to drink blood.
This is true,
I guess so.
but I would assume.
Yeah.
The
Well,
I guess
what
the
happens
movie
when you assume.
the movie never establishes that the people need to eat to live.
Yeah, sure, but people are real, and I can inform what I know on the people based on my experience as a person, and vampires aren't real. So
Vampires aren't real?
Well, have I got
I didn't
have I
even
got
know
bad
she was
news for you,
sick.
bud.
Oh my god. I didn't know they were sick. I could not do a Sammy. Because
Which-
the guitar
Yeah,
Because
go ahead.
guitar hurts my fingies.
Well,
Mm.
it's just because a guitar hurts everyone's fingies when you start playing. Just means you got to play more.
Nah, I could do a smoke, though.
You could do a smoke.
Oh, yeah. Fuck 'em
So
up.
when you say you could do a smoke, what falls
Okay.
under this umbrella?
I can drive the truck to the juke joint. Okay. I can yell at Sammy.
Mm-hmm.
I have to shoot an immortal Mary. Then I have to eat a piece of garlic, right? I have to survive being pulled out of the barn by cornbread. And then I have to live at the end. I have to survive the punch-up, but I have, like, a bunch of wooden stakes and a gun. I feel like I can do it, especially because everybody else has no survival sense. The only other thing I have to do is I have to kill Annie when she gets bit. And then I have to kill the clan, which, again, I think I can do. And then I have to die. So, I can definitely die.
This is a tall, I don't know. This is a pretty big list of things you got to do that.
Vampires are
Smoke
not
seemed-
terrorists or bank robbers.
Smoke seemed particularly attuned to, considering he fought in the trenches in World War I, in addition to working for a Chicago mob. Like, I feel
So-
like Smoke's abilities are getting underwritten here a bit.
Listen, John McClane had, like, a pistol, right? The other guys had, like,
And no
submachine guns.
shoes.
And no
Uh-huh.
shoes. That's why I can only kill 3 of them. If I have a bunch of wooden stakes and my guys are allergic to trees, I'm going in.
Just full reckless abandon, no planning.
I'm gonna fucking be out there like Rambo with 2 knives. Ah!
Well, I would love to see how that turned out for you. Maybe we can put together some sort of task or test obstacle
How are
course.
you gonna test me?
I don't know. We're gonna have to figure this out.
And I also could not do Remick because I can't dance.
Wow. You wouldn't even learn the Irish river dance? You want to
No,
learn any river dancing
Wow.
for this?
couldn't do it.
Wow.
Wow.
There's a
Well,
bunch of
there we have it.
crickets in my office now.
I would, considering the list that you provided for things that Smoke did that you could do, I think that's just a yes. You think you could have done the Sinner. So I'm putting this down
I
into
could
Minio's
definitely
ledger
do
as a
smoke
yes.
or stack. Yes.
Wow. Well,
Why are you
how
shocked?
about we then transition into talking about what might be the most important question today. Is the film okie dokie?
Oh hell yeah! 2 thumbs up, baby.
2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. 2 oaksies doksies.
Oh, I'm also giving this a big ol' yes. A big ol' fat yes, this is okie dokie. This might be the most okie dokie film we've watched.
Wow. Is Ryan Coogler going to get a trophy?
You know, he just might have to. He just might have to.
I think that was something that you guys talked about in like your first or second episode. And
Yeah.
I feel like we have not brought that back, or you guys have not brought that back at all, as to whether or not there is going to be an artichoke trophy or
I
a
think we
soda
should.
trophy.
I think that well, see, it can't be soda. You can't be doing soda because it's pop. It's pop. Also, right now, CJ is hunting down a cricket
What?
at his place. CJ sent us a message saying BRB cricket killing, and we can hear some
Cricket
smacks in the
killing?
background. CJ is hunting down a cricket.
I
in his
thought it
apartment.
sounded like like an airsoft gun for a second.
It kind of did. But no, I think he's walking around with a fly swatter trying to kill a cricket. So
Why?
maybe
Crickets'
I don't
lives
know.
matter.
Wow. Plus, how are you gonna find a cricket? You know, they're noisy, but they're freaking they like throw their voice, and it sounds like they're coming from a corner that they're not in. How did the cricket killing
I
go?
don't know. I feel like
You talked about the cricket killing while I was gone.
Yeah,
Wow. Thank you.
no problem, Bob.
Oh,
I don't know.
yeah.
We pass cricket players all the time when we are going to the movies and stuff, and I don't think they deserve to die. Like I think they're just trying to have a good time.
It turned out they were actually really big spiders.
Oh,
Oh.
so
Yeah.
you let them live then?
No, I killed them.
Wow.
They were fucking huge. They were like as big as like my thumb.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's messed up. Honestly, messed up.
Yeah. I'll take it up with my attorney.
So
we're
we've
going
all
down
said
the hallway.
this. Yeah, we've all said we are in agreement. This film is okie dokie. Our second time ever having 3 people agree. Yes, this film is okie dokie.
It's the first time the Big Lebowski.
That
think
was.
so.
And then for Bike Riders at Half Speed, all 3 of us were in agreement that it was not okie dokie.
Thank God. All right, Jade, come this way. The rec room is actually down the hall.
It's really dark in here, guys.
Yeah. Well, listen, light bulbs are expensive, and Tommy keeps eating them.
You keep eating that?
Yeah, my bad.
All right. Here, actually, I have a lantern. Here, do you want to hold it while I light the match?
Yeah, thanks.
Yep.
Wait, there's a draft in here. Did someone leave a window open?
Oh, is that why my match keeps turning out? Tommy, will you close the window?
Tommy, can you stop breathing so hard? You keep blowing out the matches.
Guys, that's not me. I haven't stepped in the room yet.
Oh, Tominio.
Oh, he was flipping the light switches on and off. He Nosferatu'd us.
Oh, not Tominio.
No.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. I
Our
can hear
guy,
him
what a
slapping
silly
down out of
guy.
the room, which is crazy because it's shag carpet in the hallway. But yeah, so don't look over there. That's where I killed those 2 spiders. But otherwise, we should be free of other vermin because I had the pest guy here today. Any Hoosers, I have 2 recommendations for this week. I big recommend if you haven't already, you should check out. Where did I put it down? My book. I bought a book. I am trying to be a better communicator and a better leader and a better person on my team at work. I got a book called Radical Candor, and the idea behind the book is that you have to be really effective. To be a really effective communicator, you have to convey the information you need to convey. You have to do it sometimes bluntly, and that doesn't mean that you have to give up being compassionate or without empathy. And it's a compass. The book has this little paper compass, and the idea is that if you don't have criticism, if you have criticism without empathy, you're just arrogant, and no one will take you seriously. They just think you're being a jerk. If you don't give people the feedback that you need, and you're just empathetic all the time, then you are it's ruinous empathy. You're being too empathetic. You're not actually helping the person get their job done. If you don't give the feedback and you don't have empathy, then you're just not being effective at all. The idea is to have both. So the book kind of goes through some examples. One example was about a guy on the team that everybody loved, but who was really bad at his job. And the other people on the team liked him so much that they actually were covering for him in his job. So he would turn in a report and it wouldn't meet standards, and the other people on the team liked him so much they would, behind his back, go in and help him or spruce it up or whatever, and nobody ever told him that his work was not meeting expectations until he got fired. And he said when they fired him, "Why did nobody tell me?" And he was really embarrassed and upset. And the answer is that, you know, part of the difficulty of this is, like, yeah, having the conversation is hard, but it was more kind and compassionate to have that conversation with him 6 months ago when he could have done something about it versus now that he can't. So I've been reading that. If you are interested in being an effective communicator, or getting better on your team, or team communication, team leadership, anything like that, this is a really good book. It's written by Kim Scott, and I highly recommend it. I'm about halfway through right now. And the other thing that I recommend is Warfare, which I watched over the weekend. Now, No idea that it had that much star power. No idea what the movie was going to be about ahead of time. It's a really brisk 95 minutes. It's like an hour and a half. And yeah, I watched it between loads of laundry, and it was perfect. It was exactly what I was looking for it to be. Not 1 second longer than it needed to be. And it probably will win the award for the Oscar for Best Sound Design. So,
Nice.
Fun little Easter egg here is when I wrecked Warfare back on our That's My Boy episode, the thing I recommended it alongside was Sinners. So look at that. Sinners and Warfare paired there just like they are here.
interesting.
It's very cute.
Yes. Jade, do you want to hit us with your recommendations?
Yeah, sure. My first recommendation is, it is October 1st, so it is officially fall. Therefore, it is time for Gilmore Girls. I recommend the entirety of Gilmore Girls. What a fantastic show. Highly recommend if you've never checked it out. No matter how old you are, no matter what gender you are, anything like that, I think everyone can enjoy Gilmore Girls and the stories that it has to offer. And it's just a really fun time. It's a really fun, cozy time. And you can just get really emotionally invested into the relationships of these women like Tommy did. My second recommendation is the peanut butter trail mix, specifically sold by Walmart. I got this as a gift for my birthday from Tommy's mom, I believe. And my goodness, that trail mix. It has like little puppy chow pieces in it too. So delicious. So delicious. 100% would recommend.
Are you eating dog food?
No, do you not? Have you never had puppy chow before?
No.
Oh,
Okay.
I've never heard of it.
You've never even heard of it. That's
No,
wild.
I
dude.
literally thought you were
Whoa.
like, oh, there's dog food in it too. I'm like, what?
I think like there's officially sold puppy chow from like Chex Mix and stuff.
Yeah, it's also called like Muddy Buddies or reindeer chow. Like, have you ever heard any of this?
Muddy Buddy sounds not right at all, but let me look. Puppy chow.
Apparently, Wikipedia says this is a candy made in the U.S., primarily the Midwest. So, Jade, this might be a regional thing for us.
Oh my gosh.
It
Well,
looks
they
like
probably sell it at
powdered.
all Walmarts, though.
You would think. It's
I've
so good.
Never seen
It's
this
like-
before.
It's like peanut butter chocolate Chex Mix.
Yeah, it's
With
like
powdered
Chex
sugar.
cereal with melted chocolate and peanut butter, tossed in powdered sugar.
It's
Okay.
so good.
It's really good. So, then maybe I should also recommend making your own puppy chow.
All right, when I come to visit, I'll have puppy chow.
Okay, sounds good.
Sweet.
All right, Tommy, can you stop eating light bulbs long enough to recommend some stuff?
Yeah, sure. I wasn't sure if Jade was done or not.
Oh, yes, I am done.
I'm
Thank
gonna
you.
recommend first. I'm gonna recommend a little game called Mega Bonk. I started playing this just like 2 days ago, and I'm hooked already. If you like the game Vampire Survivors, then you got to check out Mega Bonk. It's Vampire Survivors meets Risk of Rain, where you're running around, you're collecting upgrades. It's roguelike. But the twist of Mega Bonk compared to something like Vampire Survivors is you can spawn the boss at any time. Like you have to find where the boss spawns, and then you can just spawn it. You don't have to wait for a time limit. So really fun movement in the game. So definitely check that out if you like Vampire Survivors. Also wanted to recommend a YouTube channel I've been watching a little bit of here and there called Tasting History with Max Miller. And this is a dude who will pick a recipe that has researched history on it. Stuff like beans that were served in a Wild West saloon. And he sits down and he makes the recipe according to historical recipes back from the time period that he like finds in books and stuff. And he just kind of talks about the historical context around this food and how it was made, the significance that it had, all that kind of stuff. So if you like history, if you like food, definitely check it out. It feels like something that would be on the History Channel if the History Channel were good. And then the last thing I wanted to recommend is the film The Princess Bride, which I had never seen until this past weekend when Jade and I watched it. It was really cute. You know, I understand why it's a formative film for so many people. I love the production aspects of it. And, you know, in a movie that sets out to be a children's fantasy chapter book, this just absolutely nails it in all aspects. So really appreciated it for that. So again, the three things I recommended are Mega Bonk, Tasting History with Max Miller, and The Princess Bride. CJ, what were the two things you wrecked?
Radical Candor by Kim Scott, and what was the other thing I recommended? Warfare.
Very nice. And Jade?
I recommended Gilmore Girls, and then specifically the peanut butter trail mix sold by Walmart. And if you have not tried Puppy Chow, then Puppy Chow.
Very nice. I freaking love Puppy Chow. It's the best. So, all done in the rec room. Why don't we hustle our booties down the hall to the next time on podium where looks like CJ's stepping up, ready to give a speech.
Rooms.
Yeah,
There's
we're not
so
really
much
good
walking.
It's the only way we could keep track of the show, okay?
It's also unfortunate because it means we have to rent a really large office space for just the two of us.
Yeah. Didn't you talk about your dream that you had the other day, CJ? That
Oh my God.
you guys rented a house and you had like a tiny little office and a closet?
Yeah.
Is this where this takes place?
Oh, yeah.
Are we in this location right now?
And Tommy has like the master with like the bathroom. Dominia lives in the bathroom. Yeah.
Dominia lives in your bathroom.
Speaking of dreams, Jade, do you want to talk about what you dreamed about 2 nights ago?
Are you really going to put me on blast right now?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, God.
So I had a dream. This was like 2 nights ago. That I was on like a nature walk or like a safari of some sort, and we came across this like clearing that had like I would say roughly 50 to 100 minions, as in like Despicable Me minions, and they were not wearing any pants or anything, which you could only guess what Tommy's next question was, which was,
well,
are
first,
they bigger than me?
we woke up like early, and then she told me this dream, and then we kind of like, I feel like we were in and out of sleep for a minute, and then the first thing I say to her like half an hour later as I'm coming to, I'm like, did you say you dreamed about exposed minion cock and balls?
Jesus Christ.
and I said, no, I don't think they didn't have any external genitalia.
That's not what I heard.
It's Ken doll. Oh my God.
So yeah, that was my dream.
Amazing. So, if you can believe this, the movie that was going to be picked for next time was The Princess Bride.
No way.
What?
Yeah, I was gonna make it part 1 of our part 2 of our duology on foreigners in a distant land. But now it is going to be part 2 in our duology of the Irish, an examination of their culture. Because we are going to watch the next time on the film is Okie Dokie, The Banshees of Inisherin.
Whoa!
Because, yeah, I was not prepared with another movie.
That's so
wow,
funny.
So of our last, like with Banshees counting as number 4, 3 of our last 4 films heavily involve characters who are Irish.
What was the film before The Quiet Man? Oh, you said 3 of our last 4. I was like, who in the rundown was Irish? The Rock?
No, there was the Scotsman.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah,
But
we've also watched so many of my favorite movies on this podcast.
yeah, crazy.
Well, I
and
can't wait to hear about what you guys think of. Oh, sorry, wait, I gotta count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Movie number 13 on CJ's list of top 25 movies.
I gotta be real honest. I thought you were counting puppy chow. Oh my god. All right. Well, that's been enough podcast for me for one day. I love you both. Thank you so much for being on, Jade.
Thank you for having me.
I hope you dream of large women.
Sounds like a threat.
Well, it's a Princess Bride quote first and foremost. But I've been CJ.
I've been Tommy.
And I've been Jade.
Remember to like us, rate us, review us, give us 5 stars. If you only give us 4 stars, I'm inclined to believe you are a hater. Share it with your friends, share it with your neighbors, share it with your neighbors' friends, share it with their kids. Make sure that you help them do it because their hands are small. They need help working the buttons. And tune in next time for our episode on the Banshees of Inisherin. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.